Russell, thank you. Russell Fuller at the French Open tennis, 15 minutes away from kick-off in Leipzig. Alistair Bruce Ball and Paul Robinson there. Clinton Morrison with us as well. We're going to talk a little bit now about Rayo Vallecano. Joining us from the ground, Spanish football expert Phil Quitra-Malides. Evening, Phil. How are you?
Good evening. Very well, thank you.
Nervous?
A little bit nervous, yes, I have to say, especially being here now with all these Crystal Palace fans. There are so many. I think they're outnumbering the Rayo Vallecano fans considerably, and they're a much bigger club than Rayo. Let's be honest, Rayo shouldn't be here. They're a tiny side who, if you offer them 17th place in La Liga every season, they will probably take it. Their objective is to avoid relegation and not be playing European finals.
How have they done it then?
Well, they've got an exceptionally good young manager, Inigo Perez, who is not going to be their manager next season. We think he's off to Villarreal to coach in the Champions League. He was Andoni Iraola's number 2. He would have gone to be his number 2 in Bournemouth, but he couldn't get a work permit, and he's ended up here cultivating an incredible team which has a tremendous spirit. They are much more than the sum of their parts, and they've got some good individuals, but they're just a really, really strong unit.
And their style of football is what then?
They're very strong defensively. They've got one of the best defensive records, certainly in La Liga. They create lots of chances. They struggle to take them. If they had a number 9 who was a bit more clinical, they would be pushing for even higher than the 8th place that they finished in La Liga. But they don't. But they get the ball out to the wings. They use the wings very well, and they keep things very tight defensively. They've got Florian Lejeune, the centre-back, who was formerly of Newcastle United. His time in England possibly wasn't that brilliant, but he's been fantastic for Rayo Vallecano. They are a solid defensive unit. They create chances. They just don't take them very often.
What changes for Rayo Vallecano by being in this final? And also, what changes for them by finishing 8th in La Liga? You mentioned that they'd always be happy to finish 17th and stay in La Liga. But at what point do they go, all right, what's next?
Honestly, this club isn't really about that. This club isn't really about aspiring to win trophies or win matches. The identity and philosophy about this team is to represent their neighbourhood. That's what the fans want. The fans aren't necessarily here for winning, for success. They're here because they're part of the community. Honestly, it's a feeling that is pretty unique. This is not a team that is built around success or even on the pitch triumphs. They just want to see their team play well and represent the neighbourhood, which they're very, very closely linked to. So they finished 8th last season. They finished 8th this season. Their 2 best ever finishes in La Liga. Maybe if this was a more commercial-minded club, they might be looking to kick on and take it to the next level. That's not really what they're all about. You know, next season they'll be in the relegation battle, I'm sure, again in La Liga, and that's okay for the fans, because that's not really what this club is about, success.
So tell us about that neighbourhood then, and that relationship, and why it is different to many community clubs across Europe who think they are representing their neighbourhood.
Yeah, I mean, Rayo Vallecano doesn't exist to win matches or win trophies. It's an extension of the barrio, of the neighbourhood. It exists to represent the community. You know, these fans will still turn up even if they are in the 2nd division, even if they are in the 3rd division. They're not there to see the team win. They are there to be part of something that is very, very close. And it's a working class neighbourhood, multicultural. It's a part of town where not necessarily a lot of good things happen, but this football team is something that everybody can get behind, and it just represents that neighbourhood. So, I mean, I know I'm being a little bit too romantic here, but this honestly, this football club isn't about commercialisation. I was at the club shop yesterday at 5 to 11 in the morning. It wasn't open. The day before the final, it wasn't open. I went in, there were no shirts. They didn't have any shirts to sell. They're not commercially minded. It's 1 in, 1 out in the club shop. You know, they're not there to make money. They're not there to necessarily win trophies. They just exist, and existing is enough for these fans. So imagine if they win. Imagine what that would mean.
Are they member owned? Are they fan owned?
No.
What's their ownership situation?
They have a deeply unpopular president called Raul Martin Presa, who the fans, despite being here, despite qualifying for Europe back-to-back seasons, they absolutely hate him. He doesn't represent what the club values are all about. And this is, the club is about the values rather than the success. So the president will point to, well, look where we are. We're at this final here. Aren't you happy? And they were like, no, we would rather, and a lot of fans would genuinely rather they were relegated and the president leave than be in this final. That's more important to them, the values of this club.
So how has he ended up as president, and what can they do to get rid of him? And then the third part of that is, are they then vulnerable to outside offers if there is somebody unpopular at the helm?
Yeah, I mean, they were in absolutely dire financial straits, and he saw an opportunity and took it about 15 years ago. They have tried to get rid of him, and they absolutely cannot. And yeah, I often say to Rayo Vallecano fans, be careful what you wish for, because who do you think is going to come in and buy this club? It's not going to be someone who is necessarily as idealistic as you are and share your core values. It could be someone even worse, quote unquote, than the guy at the helm now. So yeah, it's a bit of a conundrum for the Rayo fans. But tonight, I spoke to quite a few of them. They said, we're not going to think about the president, we're not going to chant about him today, we're just here to enjoy this historic night.
Given how much they like possession, do you expect them to dominate the ball tonight and Palace to try and play on the counter-attack?
I was really impressed with how they did in the semi-final against Strasbourg, particularly in the second leg away in France against the Strasbourg side, who had been really dominant at home. They controlled the game totally. Rayo do tend to sit back. They've got one of the lowest defensive lines in La Liga. They do tend to sit a little bit deep. But I think in the last few weeks, the team has been growing in confidence. And I actually expect them to come out and maybe be a bit more front-footed than they are perhaps domestically.
Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you can enjoy tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Phil Quitramalides with a Spanish football expert and Rayo Vallecano fan as well. It's a great story, isn't it, Ali?
It is, Mark. It absolutely is. Do you know what? I was just leaning in to ask Phil there. We've got the sort of battle of the tifos going on at either end as all the banners and the flags come out ahead of play here. The Crystal Palace one I have just worked out. This story, shall the good man teach his son? They've gone all Shakespearean on us tonight, the Crystal Palace fans. Apparently that comes from William Shakespeare's Henry V, the rallying cry he gives his troops. I know, ahead of the Battle of Agincourt.
Who told you that, Ali?
I just looked it up.
All right.
Google. But I think his troops were vastly outnumbered ahead of the Battle of Agincourt. Palace are definitely not outnumbered in here. And away to our left, the Vallecano fans, it says La Valla al Barrio, mi amor. Take the cup to the neighbourhood, my love. And that's exactly what Phil was talking about. But you know what, Mark, I do think just given that story and understanding the background of the club, and I've been doing a lot of reading about them in the build-up to this final, it's not a free hit, because it never is, because this is such an opportunity to be embraced. But if it truly is about that, the relationship between the club and the players and the fans or whatever, I guess it does give them a sort of sense of freedom to play and just go out and do battle for the club that these fans love. I don't know, just whether it just releases a little bit of tension for them and lets them go out and express themselves.
Would you think that, Clinton, if fans had very little expectation of you, it would free you up?
Yeah, I kind of get it. I can't believe their fans have little expectation of them. When I was just listening there, I said, I can't believe it. I don't think I would want to play for a football club like that. Surely you got to have some positivity. They just beat Strasbourg in the semi-final, one of the favourites to get to the final. So they should be confident going into this final. And especially if they know and they've watched what Palace are like. You made a good point, Chappers. I think they will dominate possession and Palace will play on the counter-attack. But yeah, there's got to be a bit of positivity going into a final.
So if they do that and play on the counter-attack, how important are Pino and Sarr either side of Mateta then?
Oh, massively important. I actually think Pino struggled a bit this season. He's come into his own in the last few games, but I think playing against a team Rayo Vallecano that he would know about, I think he'll exploit it and be good this evening. And Ismail Sarr's been outstanding. His pace causes problems. Pino into little pockets, and Mateta the target man to get Palace up the pitch. You know who's crucial as well, Chappers? Wharton. And I think he'll have a big say on the game. I'm so surprised, and that's another subject, a topic, that he didn't make that England squad.
Just on Wharton though, he did pick up a knock, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So there has to. I know Glasser said he would only start if 100%. There'll still be an element of risk, won't there?
Yeah, there's a big risk. And I'll be honest with you, I know it's a European Cup final. I know it's a big game, but if he was in that World Cup squad, you'd probably there'd probably be even bigger question mark over him. Just like Richards, when Ali said Richards, I saw Richards training with a few shots, but he's in that USA World Cup squad, so he must not be 100%. If Wharton they need Wharton. Even if Wharton's 60% fit, he needed to start tonight, Chappers, because he's the one in the midfield who gets on the ball, and Kamada will do the running and getting forward.
The other thing with Ismail Assar, Clinton, he is Palace's leading goal scorer across all comps this season. He's got 21 goals this season, which is the most by a Palace player. Get this, Clinton, in a season since? Who do you think?
Not myself.
Not you. Andy Johnson.
Andy Johnson. I knew it was. Yeah, I knew it was. Fair play to him. And he's not even a centre forward. He plays on the right, Chappers. He plays on the right. He's been outstanding, Ismail Assar. That's what I said. He goes under the radar. Everyone talks about the likes of Mateta, Wharton, but they never talk about Sarr. But Sarr's been outstanding, and he's had a big say in this competition. He's a top goal scorer in the Europa Conference League this season. So, yeah, he's been fantastic. And long may it continue this evening.
I think, do you not think, Paul, that Glasner's made him more effective, more lethal in front of goal?
I think he's made a lot of them better players, in all honesty. I think that's the sign of a good manager. You look at the Crystal Palace team and you look at the immediate impact they had when he came in. He changed them to a back three and immediately they took to that system. But as well as a system, individual players, you could label that on any of the players. He's made players that were already at the club and players that he signed into better players and more effective in the system that he plays.
The trophy's just been brought out and put on a plinth, which is always a good test of former European footballer knowledge to try and work out who it was. Do you know who it was, Ali?
No, I didn't see, and I can't see from here. Go on, do you?
No. I'm sure I'm going to be really embarrassed when I find out who it was as well. Clinton, thank you. We will talk later on. Enjoy the first half. The teams are in the tunnel. Here we go. Crystal Palace in a European final, the Europa Conference League, and they have a chance to pick up another trophy at the end of a remarkable 12 months in what is likely to be, and should be, unless something strange happens, Oliver Glasner's final match in charge. Rayo Vallecano, their opponents, in the stadium in Leipzig. Paul Robinson and Alistair Bruce-Ball.
Yes, well, welcome to a stadium full of noise, colour, intensity, drama, hopes, expectations. These tifo displays get more and more elaborate every final, every European game you go to. Great humour from the Crystal Palace fans away to our right, thousands of them underneath this giant banner which stretches across almost the entirety of the tier away to our right hand side, and it's mocked up a departures board at an airport, and you've got your destinations on the left-hand side. So Destination 2, liquidation, it says cancelled. Destination 2, FA Cup, it says landed. Destination 2, Europa League, it says boarding. Conference League final tonight. Oliver Glasner, the manager, is out there on the touchline right now. He goes over to shake the hand of his counterpart, Inigo Perez. That was the point that Glasner was making last night. If Crystal Palace do indeed win another trophy this evening, it will also get them into the Europa League next season, a place he feels, and was arguing last night, should have been rightfully theirs anyway. We've got red flares going off at either end of the ground. The Crystal Palace fans definitely outnumber those from Rayo Vallecano. But again, Paul, just to sum it up before this game kicks off, we really have had the feeling, haven't we, inside this city and inside this stadium, of two sets of fans who have loved every minute of this competition so far and are going to get every drop out of this occasion tonight.
Oh, it's been a special occasion, it really has. Just been here for the last 24 hours to be in the city and to see the two sets of very, very respectful supporters. I know there was reports of trouble yesterday evening, but I don't think that was between the two sets of supporters. The Palace fans today, they're a pleasure to be in and around, sat having coffees and sat out local marketplaces. The city was just a sea of different colours, vibrant colours, and two sets of supporters that had the utmost respect for each other. It's been a brilliant place to be. Let's hope the match lives up to the expectations.
Plumes of smoke pouring up from either end with all these flares going off. Some have been thrown and have landed in that vacant area between the back of the goals and the front of the stands. Something like, I think, 18,000 Crystal Palace fans in here, and the noise they've been making, I'm surprised they've even got voices left after all the singing we heard last night and throughout the day today. But again, another roar here as Jean-Philippe Mateta, the big centre forward, comes running over towards them and throws both his arms in the air. Red and blue balloons bouncing all around us here, and the Vallecano players in their distinctive brilliant white shirts with the red sash across the front. So many of those in the replica shirts, they're thunderbolts, red thunderbolts, and Rayo actually literally translates as thunderbolt. Their first ever major final in a history of over 100 years as a football club. First European season for Crystal Palace and a first European final for them. Both probably wanting to start as underdogs, but I think we have to make Crystal Palace the favourites. But look at Strasbourg in the semi-finals, Paul. Vallecano beat them 1-0 in each leg. They couldn't even score against them.
Well, they're a team that are in good form, Vallecano. As the Spanish journalist that we had on earlier was saying, the manager's got them playing in a certain style. We'll see them press high. They want the football. When they lose the football, they do everything that they can to win it back. It's very hot here once again this evening, so it's interesting to see how long they can keep that type of tempo up for. I mean, they're undefeated in the last 9 games, finished 8th in the Liga, and nobody expects them to be in those type of places in the league. So they're a team that have transformed their ambitions.
7 players in the starting lineup for Rayo Vallecano who are 30 years or older. Experienced team, well knit together, brilliantly coached by Inigo Perez, who we think this is his last game in charge. We were hearing that before the game. He's probably off to Villarreal. We don't know where Oliver Glasner's going. His last game in charge too. And this game gets underway in Leipzig. The UEFA Conference League final. Palace kick us off in the red and blue vertical stripes. Flick on by Mateta from the long clearance by Dean Henderson. Sarr was running onto it, it's headed away and goes out for an early throw into Crystal Palace on the right.
Already you can see that Palace, they're not going to mind going long. They've got this throw in, this is going to get thrown into the box. It's going to be a long throw from a set play, immediately back to the goalkeeper straight from the kick-off, and you could see their intention. Went long straight into Mateta, and he's going to cause some problems tonight as Mateta.
Thunderous noise again all around us inside the Red Bull Arena. So Crystal Palace in the red and blue vertical stripes, blue shorts, red and blue socks, attacking the goal away to our left, throw in towards the penalty area. Lacroix jumps for this one, last touch came off him, and it goes behind for a goal kick to Vallecano. So for Crystal Palace, the big calls for Oliver Glasner were whether Adam Wharton and Chris Richards were going to be fully fit. Richards, they've decided is not. So Chadi Riyad, the 22-year-old Moroccan, who is making only his 12th appearance of the season, and only his 3rd appearance in this competition this season, starts in the back 3 on the left-hand side of the 3. Lacroix in the middle, 19-year-old JD Canvo on the right. Vallecano take their goal kick. Long ball down towards the halfway line is headed forward by Riyad, bounces once. Mateta threatens to leap up at it, but it's volleyed away down the right-hand side by Rachu, the Romanian right-back for Vallecano. And this time it comes off Riyad and goes out for an attacking throw-in to Vallecano. So Riyad, Lacroix and Canvo are Crystal Palace's 3 centre-backs. Daniel Munoz and Tyreek Mitchell, as ever, patrolling the flanks. Adam Wharton is fit and starts alongside Daichi Kamada, who won the Europa League under Oliver Glasner back in 2022 in that Frankfurt team. And then Ismail Assar, who's been in brilliant goal-scoring form in the knockout stages in this competition, alongside Jeremy Pino, a Europa League winner with Villarreal against Manchester United back in 2021. And Jean-Philippe Mateta playing through the middle. But in terms of benches and squad strength and looking later into the game, you've got Jorgen Strand Larsen and Brennan Johnson, who scored the winner in a European final last season, waiting.
He's got changes that he can make that will affect the game, especially when he turns around and he looks at his bench. Their squad depth is a lot deeper than the Vallecano one. But immediately you can see the 2 contrasting styles. Vallecano, they do like to play out from the back. Oliver Glasner's obviously had them closely watched. The Crystal Palace players ringed the 18-yard box and tried to stop them playing out, forced them to go long, and they won the ball back quickly. Whereas Palace, they go long straight away.
5 Live, BBC Sounds, BBC London taking our commentary this evening as well. Welcome to all our listeners on there. Lejeune, former Newcastle, Manchester City defender, now playing his club football for Rayo Vallecano. He intercepts, he's on the ball now, right-sided centre-back for them. I'll run you through their starting 11 in just a second. Playing from left to right in the white shirts, red sash across the front, white shorts. and white socks. And Daniel Munoz gets on the ball, bit of space inside his own half. As ever, socks rolled down in the bright yellow boots, plays it back here to Canvo. Ball down the channel. There's a slip there from Cease, and Mateta gets onto it. Sarr makes the run beyond him. Lejeune reads it really well, steps in and intercepts the ball from Mateta that was looking for the run from Sarr.
That was a really good chance for Mateta to play Sarr in. It was a good run on the overlap from Sarr on the outside. Mateta did well to win the ball back initially, found himself in a lot of space. Sarr was the perfect overlapping runner. Pass was really poor from Mateta.
Vallecano have given the ball away. Pino with a bit of dancing and dribbling is heavily brought down 30 yards from goal in a central position. Crystal Palace have made a good start here, just under 4 minutes in Leipzig in the Conference League final. Palace 0, Vallecano 0, and Mateta has already showed his presence. Sarr's made a couple of good runs. Pino's got himself on the ball, seems to be in good touch, and already 3 Palace players huddled around this free kick, probably too far out for a strike, unless you wanted to try and test the goalkeeper early on.
Yeah, you would think it's slightly too far out, but as you say, they've started really well. Palace started brightly on the front foot. Mateta, he's a unit, isn't he? He's a big size, and he's going to cause a problem. And with the likes of Sarr and Pino in and around him, running off his shoulder, we've already seen on 2 occasions in this game that they can get in and expose this defence.
So, free kick for Crystal Palace in the central position. Last week, Aston Villa winners of the Europa League. Arsenal in the Champions League final on Saturday. We'll have full commentary of that on course, of course, as Wharton chips the free kick into the penalty area. Lacroix stretches. They were trying to work something clever there. Lacroix drifted away to the right-hand side. Keeps the ball in play, gets it back to Pino. The cross comes in. Mateta jumps. The header is glanced backwards and out of the penalty area. Comes off the Palace centre-forward, I think, although the referee's pointing the other way and says that is going to be an attacking throw-in for Crystal Palace.
He's causing a problem, Mateta. He's occupying the 2 central defenders. You saw when that cross came in there was 3 Rayo Vallecano defenders in red and white shirts in and around Mateta, thinking that he's a goal threat. That allows the other Palace players to get in and around him and find the spaces.
Flags furiously waving at either end of the ground. Munoz has come over from the right-hand side of the field to the left, getting ready to take this throw for Crystal Palace. All sorts of movement from the Palace players inside the penalty area. Munoz with a cameraman directly behind him, holds the ball in his left arm, points with his right hand, shuffles towards the touchline, throws it in towards the near post, headed away to the edge of the box. Loose ball, Munoz is there, side foots it to Wharton, chips it up in the air, and the referee spotted a bit of pushing and shoving there and gives a free kick to Rayo Vallecano. Let's give you their team then. They have got Augusto Batalla, the Argentine, 2nd season at the club on loan from River Plate, in goal. Andre Rachu, Romanian, at right back. Pep Chavarria at left back. Florian Lejeune, we've mentioned, alongside the Senegalese international Pathé Ciss at centre back. Unai Lopez, the captain Oscar Valentin in central midfield. And then the 3 in behind the Brazilian centre forward Alemão, Jorge de Frutos, Alvaro Garcia, who scored lots of goals early on in this competition for Vallecano, and Issy Palazon, short, stocky, distinctive, bald-headed figure, long-sleeve shirt, playing in that number 10 role, number 7 on his back, in behind the Brazilian centre-forward Alemão, who scored both of the goals in the 1-0 wins against Strasbourg in the semi-final. So there is Valentin running across the halfway line. Chavarria, the left back, to Palazon. Palazon slides his pass down the left. Palace double up on him. They manage to scramble the ball away. Chavarria gets a touch again. Palazon is there. Neatly passes it back to Ciss, and Ciss puts a bit on that to find Lejeune, who's an absolute man-mountain. Physical battle, actually, between him and Mateta is going to be fabulous to watch this evening.
They're a strong unit as a side, Vallecano. I mean, people that haven't watched them this season, you see the way that they've finished their domestic season. They're a really strong unit. You look at the team and you mentioned the names there. No real standout stars, no real true goal scorers in there.
Early cross in from the left-hand side. Dean Henderson right underneath it. He's all in gunmetal grey this evening, the Crystal Palace captain. You just wonder whether his penalty-saving skills might have to come to the fore again at some point if we do go all the way tonight. He's got the ball in both hands here, standing on the edge of his 6-yard box, thinking about getting Palace to play out, then runs to the edge of the penalty area, smashes it downfield with his right foot, dropping all the way on the edge of the opposite penalty area. Lejeune wins the first header. Palace are battling for the 50-50. It's given away by Vallecano inside their own half. Crisp first-time pass from Wharton finds Pino. Pino tries to open it up to the right-hand side. Munoz in the attacking position, couldn't get to that. And then Vallecano hit a high, long ball down into the Palace half. Awkward for Lacroix. Had to let that bounce. Under pressure from the centre-forward, did really well. He let him jump, go past the ball. And now Palace start to play out. And Sarr finds Wharton running forward, knocked over as he played his pass to Pino. And that is going to be a free kick to Crystal Palace. Palace 0, Vallecano 0.
It's going to be important for Crystal Palace tonight. Adam Wharton just sitting in front of that back four. We know the way that he patrols and he protects them side to side. But actually a couple of interceptions trying to turn defence into attack quickly there. He's going to be an important player if Palace are to win this tonight.
So free kick Crystal Palace. Noise levels go up again. Maxence Lacroix getting ready to take this free kick. His experience in that Palace back three hugely important this evening. With Chris Richards sitting on that bench, he's going to have to guide JD Canvo and Chadi Riyad through it. Lovely pass from Wharton straight up towards Pino. He's looking for Mateta. Then Pino strikes one from distance. Opportunistic effort which is blocked. Little backheel flick from Munoz. Drops in the penalty area. Brilliant first touch from Sarr. Scuffs the shot, takes a deflection, loops into the arms of the goalkeeper Bataya, who just pats the ball down for Vallecano at his feet and gets his defenders to clear his penalty area.
Chavarria, the left-back, does well there. Sarr gets the ball, wasn't expecting it. It's a decent first touch from Sarr. It's half an opportunity, but the left-back's there right in front of him. The strike and the connection wasn't what he wanted, but the left-back had put him off.
Incredible support for both clubs in this city, inside this stadium tonight. Real feeling of joy about the occasion. Palace again intercept inside the Vallecano half. First time ball from Pino, didn't find Mateta. That was half a chance, right past. Mateta's in there.
It's a simple pass, it really is. A player of the quality of Jeremy Pino, you would expect that to find Mateta. Palace do really well on the transition, win the ball back, it's fired into Pino, tries to turn it round the corner to Mateta, which he should have been able to do. That was a chance, you're correct.
Cease floats the diagonal high ball out to the right-hand side, flicked on by Rachu. Riyad reads that for Crystal Palace. Side-footed pass to Kamada, forward to Pino. Sliding challenge from Lejeune. The referee says he got the ball. Palace fans complain, but the Palace defenders are going to concentrate here because Alvaro Garcia is speeding away down the left-hand side. Gets his cross in across the face of the Palace goal. That is beyond everyone. It will be kept in play by Jorge de Frutos. He gets it back here to Rachu, gets his head up. Cross comes in, easy for Henderson, leaps unchallenged and catches the ball in both hands, and again races out to the edge of the box, looks for early options and waits for the Rayo Vallecano players to back off. 10 minutes into this final here in Leipzig. Palace 0, Vallecano 0. Paul Robinson.
The left winger sharp, isn't he? Alvaro Garcia there, we got a glimpse there. Crystal Palace on the turnover possession. At one point they were left 3 on 3. And he's not afraid to run at the defender. Garcia, 33 years of age, the Spaniard on the left-hand side, looked very quick, very sharp and dangerous. He played the ball that early, none of his teammates were with him.
Yeah, 8th season at the club for Garcia, over 300 appearances, nearly 50 goals for the club too. I was looking at them through the binoculars in the warm-up. He's got silver boots on, or I would say grey boots, and they've got silver heels. They look specially made. He was jet-heeled, actually, as he got away down the left-hand side that time. Here's Palazon. Now, he's the playmaker in the number 10 role. Drops deep, starts a move. They decide to come back to their goalkeeper, Bataya.
They specially made them boots, you know. So when they win tonight, they can just disconnect the studs and go straight out in them. they're that flash.
They'll look brilliant under the lights, you're right. In the club, we've had the trophy on the pitch before the game. Chelsea, of course, winners of this trophy last season, the final in Wrocław. Brilliant second half performance against Real Betis. That was England against Spain. This England against Spain in the Conference League final tonight. Winners get the trophy and a place in the Europa League next season. There's Cease's ball across his own penalty area for Vallecano. Lejeune with plenty on that down the right. Perfect pass, actually, controlled on the half volley by Palazon. Slipped slightly as he tries to get away from Kamada, but did manage to regain his footing. Here's Rachu, the right back. Vallecano work it back into their own half. Cease goes for the longer ball down the left-hand side. Garcia sets off. He won't catch that one. It skips away from him on this neatly manicured playing surface and goes behind for the goal kick to Crystal Palace. 0-0.
Being here tonight and seeing this wonderful occasion, I mean, this competition over the last couple of years, a lot of people have called it the poor relation, if you like, of the Champions League and the Europa League, and saying it's not the European Cup that, you know, the value of the others. But you see the supporters here today, you see the occasion, and you see a European final. This is no different. Yeah. It's a really special occasion. Munoz plays the ball back here to the 19-year-old Canvo, who's played plenty of first-team football for Crystal Palace this season. There's Kamada in a bit of space, but inside his own half. Dainty step over, doesn't fool Palazon, passes out to Mitchell on the left.
Pino's involved, back to Kamada, 10 yards inside the Vallecano half. High swinging ball to the right. Again, a Vallecano defender slips. That's twice in the early stages here. Recovers his footing, but Munoz controls the ball on the right. He's tackled. And Crystal Palace get themselves the throw, although I don't think they're going to be able to take it just yet, because Chavarria feels he was caught by Munoz as he made the tackle on Munoz. And so the assistant referee just checking he's okay.
He just catches him, I think, with his left boot, Munoz. I don't think there's anything in it. I don't think the officials will take any further look at that. I think it's just a painful one right on the top of his ankle. They're going to be key, the two wide players for Palace, Munoz and Tyreek Mitchell. If they can get forward and cause that overload in midfield and do the overlapping runs, which they have done, they'll cause Vallecano a problem.
Just had a close-up of Daniel Munoz, the Colombian there, with the pointy jet black beard, throwing to the penalty area, headed behind by the centre-forward Alamau. So Crystal Palace get their first corner of the first half, coming up to 14 minutes played in the UEFA Conference League final. Yes, this is its 5th season. First winners were Roma under Jose Mourinho. Leicester City made the semi-finals that season. Then David Moyes and West Ham won it in its 2nd edition in Prague. A real bundle of players gathered around the near post ahead of this first Palace corner. You heard the referee blowing his whistle 3, 4, 5 times. The goalkeeper, Bataya, is already trying to make the point to the referee. There's Mateta there, there's Sarr there, and there's Canvo there as well, just trying to make it as difficult as they can, Paul.
He's not the biggest, the goalkeeper, either. I mean, we've seen the tactics for Crystal Palace for pressing high and trying to win the ball higher up. This is clearly a tactic. The 6-yard box is absolutely packed, and there's 4 Palace players directly surrounding the goalkeeper. Yeah, all bunched around the goalkeeper in green. Corner comes in from the right-hand side. Looks like good delivery, and the referee has given a free kick for something he spotted in the 6-yard box there. And he's telling Crystal Palace players that he's not going to let them manhandle the goalkeeper or the opposition inside the penalty area. I mean, again, it's always 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but Crystal Palace have obviously spotted an opportunity to try and make things as awkward as they can for their opponents in there from the attacking set pieces. Well, just looking at that replay there, I have no idea how the referee's been able to give a decision either way. He's guessed. There's absolutely no chance. Like the goal that Arsenal got given against West Ham, that was the equivalent of that inside the 6-yard box. You could have given 2 penalties and 3 free kicks. Oliver Glasner's all in charcoal grey this evening. Long sleeve, round neck jumper, smart trousers, white trainers. The Crystal Palace manager, as the high ball bounces here just outside the Palace penalty area. Good defending from Canvo to take it off Garcia. Low pass up the right-hand side, intercepted by Cease. Canvo's got to chase this back towards his own dead ball line. Alamau gets in behind him, gets it back to Garcia. Danger for Palace here. Cut back into the penalty area as well, blocked. Lacroix got in the way just in time, and it goes out for a Vallecano throw-in on the left. What's Canvo doing? What is he thinking when he back to his own goal? He completely switched off. He thought the ball was going to run out behind the goal line, I think. Didn't think he realised that the Vallecano player was in such close vicinity to him. And it was just a real lapse of concentration, almost gives the ball away. Cross comes into the box, and he's lucky to get away with that. JD Canvo completely switched off. Throw in then for Vallecano on the left. Game gets back underway. Side-footed pass from Unai Lopez, cleared by Kamada. Happy just to whack that downfield. No one able to collect it for Crystal Palace, so the Vallecano goalkeeper, Bataya, 10 yards outside his penalty area, central position, has a look up, fires the ball out to the right-hand side, and Riyad read that from a long way off, ran towards it, leaps high, and powers the header out of play for a throw into Vallecano on the right. They're evenly matched, aren't they? Yeah, watching them now, look at the way that they're set up tactically at the moment. They've both done the homework clearly on each other, and at the moment it's very much a tactical battle. This is going to be a good game. 5 Live, BBC Sounds, BBC London tonight. As I said, full commentary of the Champions League final, 5 o'clock on Saturday, Arsenal against Paris Saint-Germain. But EuroLeagues tomorrow night comes live from Budapest ahead of that Champions League final. Champions League kick-off, the big preview as well on Friday night. Also live from Budapest, full commentary of the game at 5 o'clock tonight. The Conference League, and it's 0-0 between Palace and Vallecano. And Palace are just standing off their Spanish opponents here. Florian Lejeune is just creeping forward. He plays a low pass to his right, inside his own half to Rayo. Rayo is running sideways, chased by Pino. Rolls a pass back to Pathé Cease, who quite often plays defensive midfield for Vallecano, but has dropped into the back line recently, particularly in this competition. Lejeune
high long ball away to the left, doesn't quite get that right, misses his man, and it flies out of play on the full for a throw-in to Crystal Palace inside their own half, which Munoz gets ready to take.
They're not comfortable when they go long, Vallecano. Watching them now, they do try and build up, and Palace are trying to make it hard for them. Mateta is supported by Sarr and Pino, and they'll put the press on, they'll try and smother Vallecano to stop them playing out, and when they do go long, they don't seem to have many options. That's twice now the ball's gone out of play.
This their first ever major final in any competition, twice semi-finalists in the Copa del Rey, quarter-finalists in their only other season in European football back in 2001, as Kamada's ball forward again looks for the run of Mateta. Cease tried an ambitious backheel volley there, got a little bit lucky, missed it completely, and it comes through to his goalkeeper Bataille. Yes, Vallecano back in 2001, quarter-finalists in the UEFA Cup, lost to Alaves, who went on to reach the final, and lost to Liverpool in that 5-4 thriller in Dortmund. Liverpool's winner coming in extra time. But this is Palace 0, Vallecano 0. Cease, orange boots on his feet. Palazon comes towards him, immediately clips the pass back at him. Palazon looking for a run through the middle here, waiting for that longer pass from Lejeune. Lejeune is not going to play that, holds on to it. Ball up towards the halfway line is controlled by the captain Valentin. Back to Cease. Space on the left this time for Chavarria, who does like to get forward at speed. Low pass from him, cut out by Wharton. Couple of touches inside his own half. He looks for the run of Pino. Pino bursting onto it here, and then Cease has caught him, went for the ball, missed it, got his man. Now Crystal Palace might claim the denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. The referee's given a yellow card, definitely a foul, definitely a free kick. I don't think he was clean through on goal. And
he was 45 yards away from goal, so it definitely wasn't, denying a goal-scoring opportunity. The fans in and around us will call for that. It was a lovely ball by Wharton over the top. A great run from Pino, and at that point Palace were 2-on-2. It looked like they were away. There was a lot to do between there and the back of the net between him and Mateta, but it was a wonderful ball, a great counter-attack from Palace. Good run from Pino, Mateta in behind him as well, alongside him. It would have been dangerous, but he was halted in his progress.
So free kick in the inside left channel for Crystal Palace. Long way from goal this, good 50 yards from goal this. But now Pathé Cease, centre-back for Vallecano's on the yellow card, so he's going to have to approach the rest of this game with caution. And Wharton holds his right arm in the air, and you can see 2 or 3 of those big Palace players lurking on the edge of the penalty area. Wharton, though, just goes low to his right to Mitchell. Mitchell's right in the middle of the pitch now. Assesses his options, back to Wharton. Cross comes in at pace towards the far post. That was Kamada who leapt for it, cleared away. That goes under the boot of Canvo, but rolls all the way to Mitchell, who's all on his own on the halfway line for Crystal Palace here. Doesn't see an option immediately going forward. Comes back to his goalkeeper, Dean Henderson.
He didn't want the ball there, Wharton. I'm not so sure how fit he is, I know there's a doubt about his fitness coming into this game, but actually when I'm watching him this early on in the game, 20-21 minutes into the game, not really his normal self.
Mateta trying to get onto the end of a ball dropping on the edge of the Vallecano penalty area. Good pass from Wharton, looking for the run of Sarr here into the box, and Bataille comes quickly off his line for Vallecano. Slides to the floor and grabs the ball at the feet of Sarr. We were talking about Anthony Gordon and Barcelona in the build-up to kick off here in Leipzig tonight. I can see now reporting on the BBC Sport website that Barcelona have agreed a deal worth more than £69 million with Newcastle for England forward Anthony Gordon. So head to the BBC Sport website for more on that. Lacroix has had to concede a corner for the first time for Vallecano in this first half. Midway through the first half in the Conference League final, Palace 0, Vallecano 0. Paul Robinson.
They've certainly had the better of the early exchanges, Crystal Palace. They've been a dominant force in the territorial advantage stages, if you like, created the better chances. Vallecano very rarely come down this end into the Crystal Palace 18-yard box. Dean Henderson very much underemployed in the early stages, but it's opportunities like this from set plays. We know defensively that Vallecano are good. They're not frequent scorers, but opportunities like this they do enjoy.
Unai Lopez will take the corner from the right for the white-shirted Vallecano into the near post. Lejeune missed his header there. Everyone lets that ball go. Then Mitchell reacts. Palazon gets there late. Gets a yellow card for the challenge as well. Clumsy on Tyreek Mitchell. Palace get the free kick, and already Vallecano have 2 players in the book.
Tell you what, I think that's half a chance of Vallecano at the near post there. It's an outswinging corner, really simple outswinging corner. Alamiao at the near post completely misses his header. They do well to get it clear in the end. Tyreek Mitchell runs the ball away. He's brought down cynically. by those dancing silver boots that you like.
Yeah. Right, Dean Henderson, goalkeeper, about to take the free kick for Crystal Palace. Those buoyant, joyous, singing Palace fans behind the goal, which he is guarding away to our right. Those nets pulled taut, those hexagonal holes in that netting as Pino jumps to try and win a header, nods it down. The ball is immediately cleared into that Palace half. Awkward for Henderson. The ball bounced high, almost hip height. He clears it away on the volley. Drops here on the centre spot. Palace get bodies around it. Side-footed pass from Valentin is back to Cease. Cease to Lejeune, and the game starts to establish a little bit of rhythm again. Patient stuff from Rayo Vallecano. Cease across to the left to Chavarria. Chavarria back to Cease. Cease, the centre-back, sees Mateta about 10 yards in front of him, exchanges passes with Lejeune, then Cease looks to play forward. Palazon's found a little pocket of space there. Controls, plays it to Chavarria on the left-hand side. Few Vallecano players in the box, and that goes just wide off Alamau's left boot. I don't think he knew much about that, but he got a touch on the ball. It goes fizzing past Henderson's left-hand post and behind for the goal kick, 0-0.
I wasn't expecting that, Alamau. It's a good piece of play. Vallecano's best players come down that left-hand side. This time it's the fullback, Chavarria. He gets into a really good advanced position just outside the 18-yard box on the right-hand side. Whips it in with his left foot, outswinger into Alamau. I think Lacroix just in front of him jumps and he puts him off. He wasn't expecting it. That's more than half a chance.
Just a couple of sniffs of goal for Vallecano in the last couple of minutes in this final. Riyad with his left foot, long clearance downfield. Mateta tries to get the flick on. Loose ball drops just inside the Vallecano half. Pass played by Pino to Kamada. Kamada opens it up for Palace. Plays across the halfway line to his right. There's Canvo. Kamada miscues a pass. Palazon blocks it. It comes back to Lacroix. Lacroix has to get his feet in the right position here. Turns, moves away from Alamau. Plays his pass to Cambo on the right. And then Munoz under pressure inside his own half. Back to Canvo. Forward here to Saru. Flicks that on looking for Mateta. Cease follows him out to the right-hand side. Those two go shoulder to shoulder. And Mateta's done well for Crystal Palace there. That is a throw just inside the Vallecano half on the right. Palace 0, Vallecano 0.
He's in a battle tonight, Mateta. The two big central defenders, Cease and Lejeune. Two big, strong, intimidating characters as well. Mateta's got his work cut out with his physical presence.
Throw in then for Crystal Palace, as you can hear their fans strike up again around us. Munoz spots an opportunity to sling the ball into the middle of the pitch. Wharton's first time pass slowly makes its way out to Mitchell on the left. Mitchell sees Wharton again. Wharton takes one touch with his right foot, feeds it to Kamada. Good movement from Kamada. Starting to run between the lines here. Drops a left shoulder, then plays back again to Canvo. Cambo thought about going wide right, looks infield again. All of this inside the Vallecano half, and Riyad now, the Moroccan defender, takes it on for Palace, runs forward 20 yards, plays it to Mitchell, early crossing towards that far post. Munoz attacking it there, and the free kick is given against Munoz for his challenge as he went for that ball inside the penalty area and went into the back of Chavarria.
Just didn't time his run quite too well there, Munoz. Good play by the two wing-backs, one to the other. Tyreek Mitchell down the left-hand side, puts the cross in. Munoz tries to arrive at the far post. Mistimes it, clatters the defender instead.
So free kick Vallecano. Goalkeeper Augusto Batalla goes trotting back to pick that ball up off the white plastic cone. Taking his time. And we've played almost 27 minutes in this first half in Leipzig, and still the balloons being batted around by the Crystal Palace fans around us. They're above us as well, because you can just see the bottom of the flags in the second tier above us, just draped over the stands in front of us as Batalla takes the free kick. Long downfield it goes, over the head of Garcia, and out for a throw into Crystal Palace in the right-back position.
There's certainly more Palace fans here, isn't there? It's quite evident in the stadium. I mean, we're in the middle tier, there's another tier above us, and you can see the red and blue shirts, especially around the town today, and walking to the stadium this evening. They're certainly outnumbering their opposition, that is for sure.
Possession stats, according to the BBC Sport website so far in this final, 60% almost for Vallecano, 40% for Crystal Palace. 2 shots for Palace, 1 for Vallecano. No shots on target so far.
I'm not having that possession stat.
You're not?
No way.
No.
Palace have had the better of the game. Palace have much better possession and in better areas as well.
Down the right for Ismail Assar to chase. Cease read it, came scampering across and knocks the ball out of play. Big, deep benches there with the comfortable red seats for all the substitutes and coaching staff for both teams on the opposite side of the field to us. Almost got sort of marquee roofs to them in the green and black colours of this competition, the UEFA Conference League. Sarr wins a couple of tackles inside the Vallecano half, eventually outnumbered. Now they play up towards Palazon. Palazon on the turn. Canvo reads that pass, steps in, intercepts, and it goes out for a throw-in to Vallecano, 0-0.
Yeah, they're definitely growing into the game, but I wouldn't say they've had that much possession. Palace have had the better possession in better areas, but the longer the game's gone, Vallecano have grown in confidence and they've started to play through Palace a little bit more.
Ball is back with the Vallecano keeper, Bataya. Straight pass from him into the feet of Valentin. Wide it goes on the left to Chavarria. Chavarria runs forward 5 yards, then stops. Valentin's involved again. Lejeune sweeps a low pass out to the right. And steaming forward now is the right back, Racho. A couple of step overs there. Tyreek Mitchell is close by, gets a right foot on the ball, doesn't go out for a throw-in, wins the tackle though. Here's Riyad looking for Mateta. Mateta can't even challenge for that. Lejeune chests the ball down comfortably in front of him. Plays it here to Valentin. Valentin thought about the early one over the top to the Brazilian centre-forward Alamau. Now Unai Lopez, plenty of experience in this Vallecano team. Lopez another one, and then Racho to Valentin. Valentin with the bright green captain's armband wrapped around the left sleeve of his shirt. Pass to his left to Cease. Cease curls a ball out here to Racho. No pace on that, so Mitchell closes in on his opposite number. Racho didn't see the opportunity to play it down the right to De Frutos, and instead Vallecano come back to their goalkeeper again, who's well outside his penalty area. He goes for the early long high ball down the left-hand side. Canvo backpedals, powerfully heads the ball away. Palazon lets it go out for a throw to Vallecano.
You can tell that they're coming more into the game, because Palace, when they're out of possession now, they sit in the back five. We quite often see them in the three and the two wing backs, that they push on and they force the opposition back. But what's happened to Palace now, they're the ones getting forced back, and as we look down now from our elevated position, we can see a clear back five.
5 Live, BBC Sounds, BBC London tonight, live from Leipzig. Palace 0, Vallecano 0. Floated pass again to Racho. This definitely is plenty of Vallecano possession until they give that away. Riyad quickly forward to Mateta. Pino's first time ball, again looking for the run of Sarr, just looking for that interplay between the front three. Doesn't quite come off this time, intercepted by Vallecano. De Frutos has given it away. Kamada read that well. Pino again looking for Sarr, and again the pass doesn't quite find him. Canvo's got to be alert here. Ball goes over his head. This time he saw Garcia coming. Passes to Munoz, who was just caught by Garcia as he played his pass. Nothing intentional in that. And then Canvo sees an opportunity to come forward. He's fouled as he does so by the centre-forward Alamau, and that'll be a free kick to Crystal Palace.
There's 2 or 3 occasions tonight already Jeremy Pino has found himself in really good positions, and his ball retention has been poor. His decision-making and the execution of the final pass, that's another opportunity there. He had one earlier to play Mateta in, and that occasion it was Sarr, but he gave the ball away needlessly.
Here's Lacroix. Lacroix side-foots a pass with his right foot to Canvo. Munoz receives it, quickly closed down by Chavarria. Back to Canvo. They will chase and chase and chase Vallecano, and Alamau is running across the back line here. Now, Palace player down, completely off the ball this. I think that's Ismail Assar on the far side of the field to us, and does seem in some distress here because he's lying on his left-hand side, grimacing in agony. Not entirely sure what happened there. We'll wait for a replay on our monitor in the commentary position. But Oliver Glasner immediately is calling a couple of Palace players over to him. So Sarr makes a run down the right ball. Oh, does he just get his heel trodden on there?
Looks that way. Looks like he's just got his Achilles caught, didn't it? I think both players were making an honest attempt. The Vallecano defender running back for the ball. Sarr trying to get round his outside. He was goal side. But Chavarria, I think it was, just maybe run his studs down the back of his Achilles tendon accidentally, but still a very painful one for the Palace winger.
So medical staff on to look after Ismail Assar. A couple of his teammates just coming over to check that he's okay. Close up now of Oliver Glasner. What do you think he will have made of the first half hour or so, Paul?
I don't think he'd be too disappointed. I think the way that his team have set up, they haven't really had any problems in their own defensive third. I think they've looked fairly solid. Going forward, they've had a problem because they've been outnumbered in certain areas. He's going to want his wing-backs to get involved in the game more. I think that's where Palace could win the game, with the 2 wing-backs, Munoz and Mitchell, not sitting as a back five but going higher up the field and making more of that hybrid midfield role, if you like, and outnumbering Vallecano. It's been brave, but that's taken the next step to go and try and win the game.
So what have we got? We got 13 minutes plus added time remaining at the end of the first half here. Temperatures just cooling just a little. I can see plenty of the Palace fans in front of us in those purple and white wigs that we were offered, Paul, when we came into the stadium, but we both wisely, I think, turned down.
Well, it wasn't my colour. If it matched, I'd have definitely taken it.
We're back underway. Wharton looked like he was caught on the halfway line there, picks himself up, and the referee says to him, look, I'm playing an advantage here. Wharton gets on the ball again, looks for Mateta. Mateta stretches, gets his right toe on the ball and keeps it. He's forced out wide to the left for Palace, turns, finds Kamada. Wharton's there, back to Mateta on the left. Wharton again, good interplay from Palace. Wharton down, no free kick, another challenge here, this time on Mitchell, and no free kick again. And Palace now have to get back because Palazon's on the ball and looking to release De Frutos down the right-hand side. Lacroix comes across to cut that out, and actually that's going to be a goal kick to Crystal Palace because Lacroix made the tackle, knocks it onto the shins of De Frutos, and it goes behind for the Palace goal kick.
Good defending from Lacroix, good positional awareness, and his pace gets him back goal side, and he makes the challenge, plays it off the Vallecano player, and he wins the goal kick. I think Palace should have had 2 free kicks at the other end. I really do. I think there's no reason that Wharton would go down in that situation. He's been in the referee's ear while he's been jogging back. I think he's missed one there, the referee.
I'm sure I've mentioned the referee by name yet, as in this final, the Italian Maurizio Mariani, in luminous yellow shirt out there, running operations. Didn't give Palace the free kicks. This time he gives Vallecano a throw-in the right-back position. No complaints from Tyreek Mitchell there. And Vallecano again quite happy to take their time over restarting this game. 10 minutes left in this first half. Now Mariani blows his whistle. Goalkeeper Bataya is down, sitting down inside the 6-yard box. Then he gets to his feet, waving his right hand in the air and pointing up towards the stands and the Vallecano fans. And I wonder whether he's been made aware of something that needs attention there, because I can see a couple of the stewards in the bright orange sleeveless vest moving into an area there amongst the Vallecano fans. And I think the goalkeeper Bataya went down just to get the referee's attention, which he did, and the referee has stopped the game for now. And I can see the right back at the moment, Andre Ratiu, is sitting on the ball. And again, I think the Vallecano fans have got in touch with the players there to make them aware of something that needs attention in the stands up there. So hopefully that situation is being eased, resolved, sorted as quickly as it can possibly be.
Yeah, it's unclear at the moment as to what's happening, isn't it? The goalkeeper's trying to communicate with the crowd in behind his goal. Something about 2 or 3 rows back from the corner flag away to our left-hand side. The players are all looking up in the corner now.
Very difficult to tell. Hands on hips from the players. They're all away to our left. We're looking into that sea of white-shirted bodies of the Vallecano fans behind that goal away to our left. My immediate thought there was medical emergency, which is why the players would stop the game, but it's not clear as yet what is going on, so we're just going to have to wait and see. And unless the other thing, Paul, is sometimes if fans get into a certain section of the stand they're not meant to be in.
Yeah, but I think the goalkeeper going over to the referee to alert him to that. I think there's something clearly. I think it's higher up than we think, actually, right, when you look at where the stewards have gone.
Yeah, I understand our colleagues on television are saying it is a medical emergency, and I can see a body of those stewards a little bit higher up, as you say, Paul, probably 20 rows back away to our left-hand side, in amongst those white-shirted Vallecano fans. So well done for them getting the message onto the pitch, and for the players being able to get the referee to stop the game.
And the referees just tried to restart the game, and the goalkeeper's refusing. Immediately the goalkeepers run out. We heard about this club and the togetherness and the unity of the neighbourhood that they're in, the community from the working class Vallecas neighbourhood in Madrid, and the goalkeeper there is flatly refusing to play the game. The referee's trying to get this game started. The goalkeeper's flatly refusing.
Yeah, they're all as one, the fans and the players at the moment, as ever, but particularly in this situation. Jean-Philippe Mateta now in conversation with Bataya, asking why he doesn't want to restart the game. Bataya's making his feelings very clear. They want to be certain that whatever is going on up there is sorted out as quickly as it possibly can be. And the referee is insistent here he is demanding that Rayo restarts the game. So Vallecano get us back underway. There was a message that very briefly went up on the big screens at either end of the ground, explaining that there has been a medical emergency in amongst those Vallecano fans away to our left-hand side, and as soon as it appeared, it went down again, and this football match is back underway.
I think what the referee was saying to the players, that he was in communication with the fourth official on the side and the match manager, and that he's had word to restart the game, because the Vallecano players, both the right back and the goalkeeper, were absolutely adamant that they didn't want to carry on.
Yeah, and I can see now Vallecano fans applauding away to our left, and lots of those orange-shirted stewards making their way as a shot comes in on that Crystal Palace goal, goes wide of Dean Henderson's left-hand post, and our attention, a bit like many fans in this stadium, distracted for a second there. I think Oliver Glasner feels his players as well just switched off for a second there. First time shot goes wide of the post, but the Vallecano fans applauding because the medical staff have moved in, and I think I saw them carrying someone out there on a stretcher.
Yeah, it was a good attempt from Lopez. Good piece of play from Vallecano. Ball pulled back to the 18-yard box. Went for precision with a side foot.
Right, chance for Palace opening up on the right-hand side. Munoz side foots a ball to Sarr. Looks to get it back to Munoz. Challenge comes in from Cease, and Crystal Palace win a corner. More attacking threat from Crystal Palace there, waking up late in this first half. 6 minutes plus added time remaining, and it's still Palace 0, Vallecano 0.
Just slightly off key in the final third. Just that last pass, the final execution, the final decision. Whatever they've done, it just hasn't quite clicked in that final third. They've got into some good positions. They've had some good overlaps, but they haven't really had that many attempts on goal.
So Adam Wharton goes over to take the corner for Crystal Palace. Again, same three, causing mayhem inside that 6-yard box. That is Sarr, Mateta and Canvos having a real wrestling match with Palazon before the ball has been struck. And as we know, no fouls can be given. Free kicks, penalties, etc. awarded for anything that goes on before that ball is struck. The referee steps in. It'll make no difference, this, to have a word with both players, because as soon as they go back to it before the ball is struck, they'll be at it again.
If that ball was in the air, it was a penalty.
Yeah.
A clear penalty.
Yeah, Palazon's got to be careful here. Keep an eye on Wharton taking the corner, which he strikes now with his left foot in towards the near post. Bounces up. Lacroix is there. Tries to get a volley on the ball from a tight angle. That went behind. And that is going to be a goal kick to Vallecano, unless the referee again there, he was making the signal as if he'd given something for holding. But whatever, we're going to restart with Vallecano possession. 5 minutes to go in the first half. Palace 0, Vallecano 0. And it's a game that's, and partly obviously due to the interruption that we've had, and we hope whoever it is and whatever has happened is going to be okay. It's just got a bit scrappy in the last 10 minutes or so.
It's been one of those games where nobody's wanted to make that final decision that gives the ball away or lose possession. The turnover possession has been frequent. There's been many free kicks, as there's another one just given now. Yeah,
that's Wharton on Palazon. That is a mistimed challenge. That is a yellow card for Adam Wharton. That is inside the Crystal Palace half. Free kick for Rayo Vallecano. 40 yards from goal in the inside left channel. Had a swing at the ball, Wharton missed and got his man. And the referee, quite quick to pull out the yellow card.
He looks like he's lacking a yard tonight, Adam Wharton. He's not had the involvement that he would normally have had. I think whether that's defensively or offensively, he just doesn't look his normal self to me. And that challenge was a good example of it. He was just slightly late to the party where it wouldn't have been like that.
Feels like this is going to be a tight game. Got to switch on at these set pieces. Could be decided by the single goal. Extra time and penalties if required. Palazon with the bald head takes the free kick. Cease attempts a back heel. Hooked away by Ismaila Sarr on the half volley for Palace, and out for a throw-in to Vallecano. 40 yards from the Palace goal on the right, just down beneath us here. And it's Andre Rayo, the right back wearing number 2, who spins the ball in the palm of his right hand before he lifts it above his head. Alamau comes towards him, back to Rayo. Rayo struggling to hold off Kamada here. Does so. He's off balance, surrounded by 3 Palace players, and eventually gets given a free kick. for not very much.
He's so inconsistent, the referee. Certain ones that he gives, and then others that he'll let go. There was a patch in the game where he seemed to let everything go. Now all of a sudden it looks like he's remembered that he's brought his whistle and he's blown up for everything.
Palazon slipped over, no free kick there. First time ball forward from Kamada. Here's Pino, gets onto it in the centre circle. Nice bit of space here for Palace on the right-hand side. Munoz has it wide on the right. Wharton screams for the ball, receives it from Munoz, feeds him in behind. Munoz chases, slides, gets the cross and it bounces back, hits Munoz while he's on the floor. Vallecano appealing for a handball, and then Kamada hits it on the half volley, and eventually that is given, whether by the referee or the assistant, I'm not sure. Not sure there was too much Munoz could have done about it, but it was a nicely worked move from Crystal Palace. That
was a super ball from Wharton in behind. Perfectly weighted ball into the wing-back. Munoz gets in behind, almost gets to the bar line. He goes to ground to slide and put it across. But as he slides, the Vallecano defender comes across, makes the block, and it goes back against Munoz's arm. He's unlucky, as you say, nothing he could do. But a good piece of play from Crystal Palace. Great ball from Wharton.
It's former England goalkeeper Paul Robinson with us here in Leipzig. Night skies above us now. Local time is 9:45. Augusto Batalla, the Argentine keeper, clears the ball downfield. Alamau jumped, went beyond him. Flag goes up for an offside against Alvaro Garcia. That'll be a free kick to Crystal Palace in their right-back position. Going to have a little bit of added time at the end of this first half, which in football terms is yet to spark into life, but in atmosphere terms has never lacked a bit of that.
The occasion's been brilliant, hasn't it? It's a fantastic occasion. The game, it's been an interesting watch, and it's been an intriguing watch, but it's lacked quality at times. It's lacked quality in the right areas. As you say, you still feel there's a lot more to come from both of them.
Here's Riyad. Space to run into here inside his own half. Brings the ball up to the halfway line. Tries the dummy on De Frutos, who wasn't falling for that. So Riyad comes back to Lacroix. It's a high spinning ball. Pino jumps for that. Might drop to him here on the edge of the Vallecano box. Mitchell steps in, looks to nod it down to Mateta, volleyed away to the halfway line. Canvo nods it forward. Sarr gets a gentle little toe on the ball, plays it out to the right to Munoz. And back he comes to Cambo again, and Cambo just lofts a delicate pass 10 yards down the right-hand side for Munoz. Back to Cambo again, and here's Lacroix, all alone inside his own half, across to Riyad. Riyad takes it past Palazon, continues running. Mitchell's looking for that ball down the left-hand side. 4 minutes of added time to be played at the end of this first half. Mitchell keeps the ball in play, then looks for Pino on the corner of the penalty area. Rachu intercepts. Rachu's knocked off the ball. Falls to Mitchell here. Cross looking for Mateta. Headed away by Cease. Only as far as the edge of the penalty area. And then the ball falls nicely for De Frutos, who starts to charge down the right-hand side, moving at speed. Swerves inside Riyad. Wharton reads it beautifully, sticks a right foot in and makes the tackle. Just going a little bit end-to-end towards the end of this first half. Wharton gets himself into good space, curls a pass towards Mateta, just behind Crystal Palace's centre forward, but he continues to chase that ball out to the right, keeps it in play, and gets the support from Canvo. Cambo infield to Wharton. Wharton cross in, headed down from Tyreek Mitchell. What a chance! Brilliant run made by the left back, 6 yards from goal, and it looked for all the world he was going to nod it into the bottom corner, and he's directed the header just wide. That is the best chance of the final so far.
He's got to score. He's really got to score, Tyreek Mitchell. It's a super ball in from Adam Wharton, in swinging cross with his left boot, 5 yards out from goal. The goalkeeper can't get it. Mitchell's in at the far post, completely free header. He looks to me like he's tried to do too much. He's tried to be too clever. Just get a surface on it, put it in the corner. Oliver Glasner charges down the touchline, ready to celebrate, hands on his head. That was such a good chance. He has to score.
You never quite know, do you, who the chances are going to fall to in the big finals, and Tyreek Mitchell has got a couple of goals in this competition this season, but that was a glorious opportunity. A man who joined Crystal Palace as a 16-year-old 10 years ago, playing in their first European final tonight, and right at the end of the first half, 6 yards out, eyes wide, Oliver Glasner was almost there, sort of trying to head the ball himself from the sideline. Can't quite believe that Mitchell hasn't found the back of the net.
Would you have fancied your chances from that distance?
I'm not sure I'd have got into that position in the first place, Paul.
If you're in that position, I'd have fancied you to put it away from there. It was a really good opportunity. I mean, it was a great run from both. mean, he found the time and the space, his time in the space that he found, everything was perfect. He just has to score. It just wasn't clinical at all.
I think a 1 in 10 for me, Paul, probably. Vallecano have it again inside their own half. They are breathing a huge sigh of relief. Still 0-0. Crystal Palace really feeling they should be one up. Fashioned the chance quite brilliantly. And Tyreek Mitchell, as Paul says, just trying to do a little bit too much with the header rather than just get good contact on it. The angle he was coming in on, you felt he was just going to plant it back the other way and knock it past the keeper. Could be another chance coming late in this first half. Mitchell gets on the ball again, just outside the Vallecano penalty area. Back to Kamada, looking for that far post cross again towards Munoz, headed behind by Chavarria. Or did Munoz get the last touch there? No, it's going to be a goal kick. Palace player got the last touch, and that will be a goal kick for Vallecano. 0-0.
That's better when they get in those areas, Palace. Just either side of the 18-yard box, ball floated into the box. Mateta's the one that's struggling to get space because the two central defenders, they're marking him very, very tightly. He's struggling to get any type of space in the box, Mateta, but what that does, it allows space for runners, for the third man running, the left back to come in like Tyreek Mitchell there, and that was the perfect example there. Just getting to see it on the replays again, that was such a good chance, it really was. You hope for Palace's point of view, they're not going to live to rue that miss. Should have been a goal, it really should.
Last 30 seconds of added time at the end of the first half here. Mitchell having his shirt pulled there, but did well to find Mateta with the pass. Back to Mitchell, starts to arrow a run into the Vallecano half from left to right. Back to Kamada, now Riyad, measured pass up the left to Pino. Couple of touches from Pino, then drills a diagonal ball towards Munoz on the right-hand side. Chavarria backpedals, heads the ball away. And that is it for the first half in Leipzig, 0-0. Looking at the figure of Tyreek Mitchell here, who you can see is already thinking about that glorious opportunity that has come his way late in the first half. You know his manager will say, forget it, it's gone, we'll get another one. But you know in these big games, these tight games, those can be ever so crucial. And he really should have scored, Paul Robinson.
Small margins, you know, mistakes, opportunities like that, win games like this. It's been a very, very closely fought game. It's been devoid of quality at times, but you can see the way that the two teams have set up tactically. Obviously done a lot of work on team shape to cancel one another out. But in that, they've both lacked in areas where they've tried to go forward. But that, by far, was the best opportunity. Palace should be one up.
Yeah, but they aren't. Half-time in Leipzig in the UEFA Conference League final. It remains deadlocked. Yet to see a goal. Crystal Palace 0, Rayo Vallecano 0.
Clinton Morrison watching with us as well. He's got to score, hasn't he, there, Tyreek Mitchell?
I don't know how he's missed it. I do not know how he's missed it. You know, you call that a 50p Chappers, where you just get it horribly wrong. It's a great ball in from Wharton. He sees it all the way. It's not even like he's seen it. He's seen it all the way onto him. Not seen it the last minute. He just mistimed the header. It's a golden opportunity. Hasn't been the best of finals, though. I'm not going to mask it up, Chappers. It's lacked a lot of quality.
I think, as you said in commentary, Paul, he tried to force it, didn't he? I'm not saying just let it hit his head, but he could have cushioned it. There were so many things, but he tried to force it.
You bang on, just let it hit his head. Just get a surface on it. Just let it hit his head and it goes past the goalkeeper, because it's at such a close angle. As a goalkeeper, you can't react. It was a beautiful ball from Wharton. He did everything for him. But like you say, he's tried to get his neck round it. He's tried to put his neck muscles into it, his head movement. And he's just tried to do too much when it was easier just to let the ball hit your head and it had gone in.
I know you both, or in fact all three of you, have talked about the sort of quality of this final. It has a feel, doesn't it, Clinton, as it should do, of two teams who realise what an historic opportunity this is for both of them, and therefore there's an element of not wanting to cost your team this historic opportunity.
Yeah, they look nervous. Listen, Rayo Vallecano have had their moments as well, but Palace you thought might dominate, but they just look nervous, Palace. The likes of Pino, I praised him at the start, been nowhere near good enough. Even Sarr on the right-hand side. I think Mateta, they've got the ball up to him, he's held it out well. There's not enough runners around it, but looks like there's a lot of nerves there, because even Campbell, he's had a good season. He's been, for me, he's been terrible on the right side of the centre-half, but he usually plays on the left-hand side. That's because Richards is not fit at the moment. So, yeah, they just look a bit disjointed and look nervous at the moment. Scared to make a mistake, Chappers.
Two teams who are used to being underdogs, Paul Robinson.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Probably a little bit of an inferiority complex, not realising that, you know, the occasion that they're playing in. And as you both touched on there, it's not wanting to be the one that gives the ball away, not making that final pass, that defence cutting ball, that being that player that makes the difference. It's got the feel of a game that's going to be decided by a mistake or a little piece of quality and bravery from one or two players.
Second half to come. During half-time, we'll look at some of the day's transfer news. And we'll talk about the new head coach of the British and Irish Lions women for their first tour, their first ever tour, which will take place in New Zealand next year. First of all, though, just approaching 5 to 9, here's Al Tansley.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Resident doctors in England will strike for 4 days in June. It's the 16th walkout in their long-running pay dispute with the government. Ministers say the doctors' union, the BMA, is making unrealistic and unaffordable demands. Here's our health correspondent, Nick Triggle.
The government's line really for the last year has been that resident doctors have enjoyed generous pay rises, the most increases in the public sector. But the British Medical Association argues that despite the pay rises they've had, they are still, the BMA say, behind the levels they were paid in 2008 once inflation was taken into account.
President Trump says he's not yet satisfied with the terms of a potential peace deal with Iran, warning that strikes could resume if no agreement is reached. Iranian state TV had reported details of what it called a draft deal, including proposals to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, but the White House dismissed the claims as a complete fabrication. Matthew Perry's former personal assistant has been jailed for 41 months for his role in the actor's death. Kenneth Iwamasa, who's 60, injected the Friends star with ketamine and helped provide him with more than £38,000 worth of the drug in the weeks before his death in 2023. Our correspondent, Shaima Halil, was in court in LA.
When she gave out her sentencing, the judge based it on two things. One, Mr. Iwamasa's proximity to Matthew Perry. He was his live-in assistant. He described himself as his friend. She said your knowledge of Mr. Perry's struggle with addiction, but also the concealment of evidence in the beginning.
And 3 men who arrived illegally in the UK in small boats over the bank holiday weekend have each been jailed for 8 months after a decision to fast-track the prosecution of some migrants. The Crown Prosecution Service says the men were charged within hours of their arrival in the UK.
5 Live Sports.
French Open tennis, live from Paris.
It's a looping ball. It's long.
Sabalenka is wide.
Down the line, the forehand goes cross-court for the winner. Wow, I think we all need to take a breath after that.
Join 5 Live Sport for live coverage from Roland Garros as the biggest names in tennis battle it out on clay. And keep up to date with everything going on in Paris with the French Open Daily. Listen with the BBC Sounds app. This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Goalless in Leipzig between Crystal Palace and Rayo Vallecano. Second half on the way of the Conference League final. Various bits of transfer news around today. Barcelona have agreed a fee of just over £69 million with Newcastle for Anthony Gordon. The player is now finalising the move, and the first reaction, Clinton Morrison, who is with us this evening, is that Newcastle are not going to put up with protracted transfers this summer.
No, definitely not. And listen, I think it's good business for Newcastle. I don't think he wasn't a regular towards the end of the season. And I think if you look, I know he scored a lot of goals for them in the Champions League, but it's not been the season that Anthony Gordon wanted. And I think you probably asked quite a lot of Newcastle fans, they'll be happy with that bit of business. I feel like at times he found himself behind Harvey Barnes on that left-hand side, and he's not been the same player he was at the kind of the start of the season. So for me, it's good business, but I hope it don't hinder Marcus Rashford's move, because me personally, I think Chappers Marcus Rashford is a better player than Anthony Gordon. That's my opinion.
He was quite vocal earlier on in the season, Anthony Gordon, about the difference between playing Champions League football and Premier League football, and how Champions League football was more attacking and more enjoyable compared to sort of the Premier League feeling quite defensive for him as a forward player. Do you think part of this move is him hoping that he gets the space in La Liga that he got in the Champions League?
Yeah, definitely. And he will. They'll be challenging. It always is. It's always between Barcelona, Real Madrid, and also, you can throw Atletico Madrid into that, but it's always between the top two. So they will be challenging. There'll be more space for him to run in behind and cause problems, just like Marcus Rashford has done there this season. He's playing with likes of Jamal on the right-hand side. So, yeah, listen, he'll go in there. I don't know who their centre-forward will be because Lewandowski's leaving the football club, but no doubt they'll find a space in there for someone. But it's a great move. You ask anyone when you're growing up, chappers, the clubs you'd like to play for, if they're not in the Premier League, and everyone would say Barcelona or Real Madrid. So it will be it's a dream come true move for him. There were talks of Bayern Munich. I didn't see how he was going to get in that Bayern Munich front three, if I'm being totally honest. But I can see him getting in that Barcelona team, and good luck to him.
A couple of other bits of transfer news. Manchester United close to signing Ederson, the Atalanta midfielder, for around £38 million. And there are reports that Enzo Fernandez wants to leave Chelsea, but that the club will ask for £120 million if they are going to sell him. Another amazing story in the IPL. The 15-year-old Vaibhav Suryanvanshi hit 97 from just 29 balls as Rajasthan Royals beat Sunrisers Hyderabad in the eliminator. The world number 2, Elena Rybakina, has gone out of the French Open tennis. Fran Jones has also been knocked out, which means Katie Boulter is the last British singles player left in the tournament. Let's talk rugby union next. Former England captain Joe Yapp has been named as the first British and Irish Lions women's head coach. The inaugural tour takes place in New Zealand next year. Let's talk to our rugby union reporter Sarah Orchard. Just give us an idea of evening, Sarah. Give us an idea of sort of how she has risen to this appointment from her amazing playing career, actually, to then her coaching career.
Yeah, I appreciate a lot of people might not know the name straight away because she was at the peak of her powers in an era where women's rugby wasn't professional. She was an England scrum half. She led England to the World Cup in 2006. She went to 3 World Cups altogether. And then as soon as she stopped playing, she was straight into coaching. England under 20, she did really well there. And also she had stints with the Barbarians. Perhaps she was best known for a time at Worcester Warriors, where everyone knows the story about the demise of Worcester Warriors and what happened with the men's team. But that happened with the women's team as well. And she was actually putting her hand in her pocket to keep some of those women's players going through that terrible time. And actually her appointment to Australia that came after that probably came at a good time for her and her family, with all the scars that came with the demise of the Warriors at the time. But even throughout all of that, she has always been whispered and rumoured to at one point to be coming back to England, because she's been rumoured to be a future England head coach. And you do just feel that this Lions appointment is a real good fit for her. I've not heard anyone, chap, has ever had a bad word said against her. She's very popular.
This is a big challenge, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's enormous. Absolutely huge. I mean, they're going down to New Zealand, who are currently the world number 2s, the 6-time world champions. And when it comes to Alliance Tour, you'll know from the men, you've got to bring 4 nations together. What is the added complication in this is quite simply the fact of England's dominance. And England, they're world champions. They always win the 6 nations. How is she actually going to bring all of these countries together and actually have players from every single nation involved? It's a really hard ask.
Do you think, look, the pressure is always on a Lions coach to try and find spots for players from all 4 nations, no matter how badly a nation is doing, and that's an historical challenge. But do you think there will be added pressure on her because it is the inaugural one, and therefore you kind of do want all 4 to be represented?
I mean, you do. I mean, the name that I thought of all day was Jack Morgan, the Wales back rower from the Men's Lions Tour in 2025, and how he was the sole Welsh player on that tour, obviously after Thomas Williams got his injury early on. And just the pressure on an individual almost carrying a nation. But the essence of a Lions is 4 nations coming together. If you don't have that, is it a Lions Tour? Is it just, England dressed up in red? That is something she's really got to figure out how this is going to work. But you do have to remember, there's no rules for the women. They don't have to follow any kind of format or regulation that the men's do. And that is what is exciting about this. I do have some hesitation around whether women's rugby on a professional level is ready for this across all of the home nations. But what is intriguing is what rules and regulations that she can bring in for the women that maybe the men haven't even thought about.
And shape, therefore, future women's Lions tours.
Oh, certainly. I mean, for me, the fact they're going to New Zealand, I understand why they've done that. It's a traditional heartland for Lions fans. But wouldn't it be wonderful to have a tour maybe over in France? I would have liked to have seen that as the first ever Women's Lions tour, because I could have seen a lot more travelling fans. And the criticism that there is of the 2027 tour is it's all going to be played out in the 6 weeks before the Men's World Cup starts. So those 3 tests against New Zealand are going to be in the shadow of Rugby World Cup men's warm-up games. So there's still a lot to be ironed out here, and you could say maybe this is dipping a toe in the water somewhat, but that is not to take away from the incredible honour that Joe Yapp has been bestowed today.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah Orchard, Rugby Union reporter, with us on the appointment of Joe Yapp as the head coach of the first British and Irish Lions women's head tour down to New Zealand next year. What do you want to see from Crystal Palace then in this second half, Clinton?
A goal would be nice, chappers, and a bit more momentum.
Ask a stupid question.
It wasn't a stupid question. I know exactly what you mean. You know what? You want to get Adam Wharton onto the pitch a bit. On the ball a bit more. He's the one who played the good ball to Mitchell. They've been too safe. Palace have been far too safe at the moment. Get the likes of Pino and Sarr into this game, because first half they've been a bit too safe. Apart from Wharton's pass to Mitchell, they've not been up to their standards.
His passing has been great. Do you think he's carrying his knock a little bit?
100%, yeah. He's carrying that ankle injury, and he has to be careful because he's not the best at tackling, and he's already on a yellow card, so he has to make sure he times the next tackle properly and don't get a second yellow card. But you can see he is carrying that ankle injury, but he's so important to Crystal Palace.
All right, let's head back to our commentary team in Leipzig. You will have definitely heard one of them giggling at the stupid question. Paul Robinson and Alistair Bruce Ball.
Well, do you know what, Mark? I'm going to put my hand up and try and put some technical expertise. I'm going to get laughed out of town for this one on the Tyreek Mitchell miss at the end of the first half. So Paul and Clinton can tell me whether I'm right or wrong in this. Just watching a couple of the replays, it looks like he's through the heading action before the ball gets there. So he's thrown his head and his neck at it, and then the ball hits him a millisecond later, and he's already through the header, which is why it goes off at the wrong angle. I mean, am I talking nonsense there?
You never talk nonsense.
Right.
Don't do yourself down. No, you're absolutely right. He gets there and he performs the action before the ball actually arrives, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He tries to swipe the ball, puts his neck back, tries to get his head around the ball and divert it into the corner, but he's already through the action before the ball's actually arrived. So, yeah, very good description, sir.
Yeah, I've got away with one there, Mark, I think.
No, perfect. Did you often arrive at the back post for a leaping header?
Never got in there. In fact, the only goal I ever scored for the under-10s, right wing, was at the back post with my left foot. Everyone said it was a fluke.
And that was last week.
But also, under-10s goals back when we were playing were full-size goals.
Yeah, exactly right. Second half is underway. Let's concentrate on the UEFA Conference League final once again here on 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and all our listeners on BBC London tonight. Still, those red and blue balloons bounce around the heads, the hands of the Crystal Palace fans all around us. Spirits undimmed, of course. Both sets of fans loving this first ever European final. It's been tight, it's been tense, it's been scrappy, it's not been great quality-wise, but we know why. There is so much at stake. Palace in the red and blue vertical stripes, playing from left to right in this second half, on the ball inside their own half, and Daniel Munoz, the Colombian right back who turned 30 yesterday, plays a pass back to the 19-year-old Canvo, and Palace get moving early on in the second half. Here's Kamada, the Japanese international. Great ball out to the left-hand side. Chance for an early cross. Mateta trying to get on the end of it. Lejeune in quickly, slides in, blocks, and it goes out for a throw into Crystal Palace. Much better.
Really good start from Palace. They look sharp. They're on the front foot. Good, swift passing movement down the left-hand side. It was Tyreek Mitchell, who just talking about, missed that chance. It was a lovely ball in across the 18-yard box on the floor. Mateta just couldn't quite get there in front of the defender.
So Munoz comes trotting over, getting ready to take the throw for Crystal Palace. Early stages of the second half. Dean Henderson, the captain, in goal. Canvo, Lacroix and Riyad, the 3 centre-backs. Munoz and Mitchell, the full-backs. Wharton on the yellow card and Kamada in central midfield. Sarr, Pino, Mateta. No changes at half-time for Palace. I'll give you the Vallecano lineup again in a second. Munoz's throw, flipped on by Lacroix. The ball goes looping up in the air. 2 Vallecano defenders have got that covered, and just make sure that Wharton can't get on the end of that. It bounces and goes behind for the goal kick. So Rayo Vallecano playing in their first ever major final of any kind, only promoted to La Liga in the late 70s, have played fewer than 25 seasons in the top league. Their right back Rayo slips there just before he gets his pass away. Palazon times his leap well to head it forward. Lacroix got to get enough on that to get it back to Henderson. Henderson to the edge of the box, clears on the half volley. That's over the head of Pino. Ball goes loose inside the Vallecano half. Wharton reads it, heads forward. Mateta will chase. Lejeune gets there first for Vallecano. He clears with his right foot. And this header is won by Riyad and goes out for a throw into Vallecano inside their own half on the right.
There's a real quick turnover possession throughout this game. Normally you watch a game and a team has a spell of possession, a team will have a good 5 minutes and then it may be switch the balances of play. But actually, the way that this game is, that the turnover possession has been so quick. Palace had a glimpse there, went down one end. Now all of a sudden it's scrappy again in the middle of the pitch.
Here's Kamada, definitely caught there. That is going to be another yellow card, no doubt about that. Not a good-looking challenge from the Vallecano captain, Oscar Valentin. Realised his mistake, apologises to Kamada, who is still writhing around in agony, apologises to the referee, but that will be another yellow card. So, Bataya in goal, back four for Vallecano, of Rayo, Lejeune, Pathé Cis and Chavarria. It was Lopez with the challenge, was it not Valentin? Lopez slid in and is booked for the challenge. Lopez and Valentin are the two central midfielders. Then you've got the Frutos, Palazon, Alvaro Garcia and Alamau, the centre forward. So free kick Palace, 3.5 minutes gone in the second half. Glorious chance for Tyreek Mitchell right at the end of the first half. Couldn't convert. Sarr slips this time. Quite a few players slipping on this neatly light green, dark green check playing surface here in Leipzig as Cis side foots a pass to his right to Lejeune. Lejeune fires the long diagonal away to De Frutos. One touch to control it. Cross comes in. Lacroix is there. Slightly scuffed the clearance. Helped out there by Riyad. Sarr. Ball clears him. Mateta chases it towards the halfway line. Lejeune just calmly side foots a pass to Rayo on the right-hand side. He's going to take Mitchell on the outside. Knocks the ball out of play. And that'll be a Crystal Palace throw. And Mitchell takes it quickly. Low, skiddy one. Mateta was alert. Controls it. Back to Mitchell. Here to Kamada. Kamada again, strong on the ball, brings it forward for Palace. Vastly experienced player in central midfield there and knows all about these big occasions as Riyad comes across to Lacroix. 10 yards short of the halfway line, side foots it to Canvo. Canvo onto Munoz. Back to Kamada, and Palace playing patiently inside their own half and waiting for an opening. Canvo, good pass, tight space there to find Munoz, dummies the ball in field, nowhere to go really there. Kamada's first time ball, just got enough on that to find Wharton, and all the white shirts for Vallecano are gathered on the left, and now Palace find space the other side of the field. Wharton brings it forward, drives it low, palmed away. Mateta is onside, side foots it home. The Palace fans around us go absolutely wild. Mateta goes racing off to celebrate. And there's a man with the flying kick, the trademark celebration, as he takes down the corner flag. He could have left the club in January. He failed the medical at AC Milan and may well have scored a goal to win Crystal Palace a European trophy. Palace 1, Vallecano 0.
Oh, what scenes inside this stadium. Absolutely incredible from the Crystal Palace supporters above, below us, in and around us. The noise levels, there's drinks flying everywhere, there's shirts flying everywhere. It's brilliant, super support from the Palace fans. But it's Adam Ward, we talked about him at half-time, said he needs to be involved in the game a bit more. And it just opened up in front of him, and he kept going, and he got within range to the edge of the box, so he thought, why not? There's nobody around me, I'll have a strike. The goalkeeper makes a real mess of it, he gets two palms on it, but all he does with his two palms is he puts it right into the path of Jean-Philippe Mateta, and just goal scorer's instinct, he sticks his left leg out, hits him above his boot and goes into the back of the net. Massive flying kick for a celebration. The Palace fans over to our right have started the party already.
Well, it was Eberechi Eze who scored the winner in the FA Cup final just over a year ago. Jean-Philippe Mateta has his name on the score sheet for Crystal Palace tonight. And the end away to our right-hand side. Well, I can't even say it's come alive because it's been alive all night. But it's just been supercharged. The red flares are lit again. The giant Palace flags are waving. And Crystal Palace could be on their way to sticking another trophy in their burgeoning trophy cabinet. High foot on Ismail Assar. He's been caught just short of the halfway line. Crystal Palace in control of this final. And it's a great example, Paul, isn't it? We were talking about it before the game, of this roller coaster season, everything they've been through this season. Mark Gahey leaving in January, Oliver Glasner saying he and the players felt abandoned. Jean-Philippe Mateta could have left, failed the medical, stayed in the end, got himself back in the team. Up, down, away they go, and look at them now.
What a big season for this football club. What a really big season it is, and you can see the outpouring of emotion from the supporters. And the Crystal Palace fans here, Sarr's taken one to the head, I think, here. The supporters are in and around the referee. They want the player booked. I think he's on a second booking as well. But the supporters in and around us, they don't care. Half of them actually won't even be able to see what's going on the pitch. I mean, there's smoke in the air, there's fans jumping up and down, flags been waved. Brilliant support.
16th goal of the season for Jean-Philippe Mateta. Strides forward into the Vallecano half. Ismail Assar is now eventually sitting up. He's hidden from our view by a couple of Vallecano players, 2 or 3 Crystal Palace players as well. Just talk to me about Bataya as well in terms of dealing with the Wharton shot there, Paul.
I mean, he's got to either catch that. It's a routine catch from in that type of area. But if you choose to put 2 hands on it, you get it away. You push it out of a danger zone. He did neither. He got both of his hands on it, and it was a soft kind of pat away. And all it did was went straight down to Mateta's left boot. And his reaction, the big striker, he tucks it away. Really poor goalkeeping from Bataya.
Pino nods the ball down to his left-hand side. The momentum all with Crystal Palace at the moment. Oliver Glasner's last game in charge. The ball comes forward to Sarr, challenged by Lejeune, edge of the box, fouled by Lejeune, down in pain again, thumping the floor in agony, but has won his team a crucial free kick, and this definitely is in a shooting position, and you sense the Crystal Palace players out there sense the momentum right now, that this final is there to be grabbed.
Well, it's definitely a shift in momentum. Absolutely, they've come out in the second half and they're on top of this game. And this is an area of the game we said about no team really dominating any type of possession over a period of time. But that's changed now since Palace have got the goal. You can hear in the background, you listen at the supporters and the players on the pitch, they're responding to that.
Just have a listen to that. Lots of shirts off in the end, away to our right, being twirled around the heads. Crystal Palace fans joyous at the moment. 5 Live, BBC Sounds, BBC London live in Leipzig. Jean-Philippe Mateta, the goal scorer. Crystal Palace leading Vallecano 1-0. And now a free kick to come. And it could be Jeremy Pino with the right foot here. It's in the inside left channel. Or it could be Adam Wharton. The two have had a conversation. Wharton's run to the ball is slightly longer than Pino's. Pino could be the favourite. A couple of big defenders, the centre-backs, Canbo and Riyad lurking at the far post as well, just to keep the goalkeeper guessing. You heard the whistle blow. Can they find a second? Pino hits it! Oh, off both posts! Rebound! Oh, it hits the post again! Loose in the 6-yard box, and somehow Vallecano get the ball away, and a Vallecano defender is down on the goal line, and the game will have to stop. Stunning free kick from Jeremy Pino, who cannot believe his luck. He'd beaten the goalkeeper. He hit the inside of the right-hand post. It went straight across the goal, hit the inside of the left-hand post, then a scramble in the 6-yard box. I think it was Riyad who tried to get on the end of it. Mateta went for it. Vallecano defender as well, who got the touch. Chavarria, I think, who took that onto another post, and eventually Vallecano get it away.
How has that not got in the goal? That is incredible how that ball stayed out the net. It's hit every piece of woodwork and not managed to find the back of the net. It's a brilliant free kick, it really is. The goalkeeper's beaten. It hits the inside of the top of the near post, goes across the goal line, hits the other post. Riyad tries to follow it up, then it's Mateta, and he hits the other post. Incredible.
Oh, Vallecano wide open now, and here come Crystal Palace. Pass into Mateta! Oh, it's gone wide, what a save! What a block, what a deflection, how crucial is that going to be? And the Palace players now urging the fans to keep going and support them. But the chances are coming thick and fast. And Palace, well, in the last couple of minutes, could have scored 2 more. Pino's cut back, and the goalkeeper, Bataya, got a left leg on that and diverts it just wide of the left-hand post.
What a save. What a brilliant save from the goalkeeper. He does everything right, Mateta. He doesn't get the best of connections on it. Goalkeeper puts himself in a position where he's allowed to make the block. Jeremy Pino at the moment, he's picking his Vallecano defence open at will. Super spell for Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace trying to kill this final right here, right now. 11 minutes gone in the second half, leading 1-0 through the Mateta goal. Wharton with the corner into the near post, nodded down, not clear yet for Vallecano. Pino will chase that loose ball. Vallecano players racing towards him. Now suddenly Palace looking a little open at the back as Garcia knocks it forward there to De Frutos. Wharton is back for Palace, just puts a big meaty left-footed clump on the ball. Downfield it goes, Lejeune volleys it away, and Kamada is penalised for the challenge there on Alvaro Garcia. That will be a free kick to Rayo Vallecano. So 12 minutes gone in the second half. Mateta's goal, the ball has hit the woodwork 3 times, and Bataya's made one incredible save to stop Mateta scoring a second.
They should be 2 up, shouldn't they? They really should be 2 up. They've had the opportunities to. Jeremy Pino's been excellent in this second half. The free kick, I mean, he did everything but end up in the back of the net, beat the goalkeeper, all ends up at the near post, and how that stayed out, and the follow-up as well. Quite an incredible scene.
All Palace at the moment, they've really stepped it up. Alamau drives one from the angle. Dean Henderson, excellent goalkeeping. Just catch that. You could almost hear the ball thudding into his chest there, gets his body behind it. Ambitious effort from the angle, 25 yards out. But Dean Henderson, solid as a rock, drops the ball, clears with his right boot down the left-hand side. Mitchell heads it infield. Rachu is there, powerfully nods it down the line. Riyad all in the clear for Crystal Palace, passes it across to Maxence Lacroix.
See, that's what good goalkeepers do. They catch it. The dying art of a goalkeeper. There's a good, solid goalkeeper. Shot from distance that could have been a problem, which was the way that Palace got their goal. Dean Henderson, excellent positioning, and he just catches the ball, makes it look very, very easy.
So just over half an hour to play in Leipzig. 5 Live, BBC Sounds, BBC London tonight. Crystal Palace a goal ahead, could be more, had the brilliant chance at the end of the first half as well. Vallecano looking a little rattled. Free kick is given to Crystal Palace here. Mitchell came in with a challenge, caught Rachu, who may well have been in the offside position. Rachu is still down hurt, so we're not going to get back underway just yet. But, I mean, in terms of quality and a team coming out in the second half and just stepping it up, Paul, Crystal Palace have done that brilliantly. Yeah,
there's been a real shift in momentum from them, a real shift in momentum, and you can see they've come out with purpose, real forward intent, which they didn't have in the first half. As you said, it was almost too nervy, it was too cagey, but they've come out and the manager's given them the licence to go and press, push on, with the ball higher up, and it's exactly what they've done, and the crowd have certainly responded to them. There's a good intensity about Palace in this second half.
Taking their free kick inside their own half. Here's Kamada, little back heel, full of confidence now. Crystal Palace enjoying the big occasion. Pino tricks back onto his right foot, crossing beyond Sar. Munoz was attacking it at the far post, deflects off him, couldn't get any proper contact on the ball, and it goes behind for the goal kick. But suddenly creating chances at will and finding the openings and the spaces that they want, and perfect for them really now, leading by a 1-0. Vallecano have got to come at them.
And the pace that they're moving the ball, Vallecano now coming out and coming at them, it leaves that space, and they're bringing the Vallecano players out of position, and they're picking those holes defensively. Jeremy Pino's really come to the fore in the second half.
So goal kick for Rayo Vallecano. They've got to find something a little bit special in this last half hour. Trailing Crystal Palace by 1-0. Looking to make it 2 wins out of 2 for the English teams in the European finals this season. Arsenal still to come against Paris Saint-Germain on Saturday. Build-up starts from Budapest with the EuroLeague show live from the capital tomorrow night. Champions League kick-off, preview show on Friday night, live from Budapest too. And then the final full commentary, 5 o'clock on Saturday. After our commentary, actually, of Scotland-Curaçao, the World Cup warm-up begins for Scotland at Hampden Park on Saturday. That game kicks off at 1 o'clock, and you can hear it in full on 5 Live Sport on Saturday afternoon. The World Cup just over 2 weeks away. England's first game against Croatia, Wednesday the 17th of June, 9 o'clock UK time. 5 Live, BBC Sounds, the place to be right throughout the World Cup. To listen to that Football Daily podcast too, available on the BBC Sounds app as always. Long ball forward into the Crystal Palace half. Vallecano just haven't got into this game in the second half. Then there's a foul, yellow card for Alvaro Garcia. Vallecano getting frustrated, getting shut out of this game. And that will be a free kick to Crystal Palace once Kamada's back on his feet.
They've got to manage their way through this game, Crystal Palace. Now they're on top, so from a Palace point of view, you would think that they're going to want to take charge, press on and take an advantage of the way that they're holding the game. But actually they've also got to keep the door closed at the back. They don't want to be giving any chances away, because they are at the moment in complete control of this final.
Pedro Diaz is coming on here for Unai Lopez for Vallecano, and Noble Mendy, Senegalese defender, coming on for Valentin. So the two central midfielders who started the game for Vallecano are off. Pedro Diaz and Noble Mendy come on to replace them. So Inigo Perez, very impressive young manager, only just older than most of his starting lineup tonight, trying to change things about to shift the momentum of this final. Here is Mendy, left-sided centre-back now for Vallecano. The ball is played into central midfield. The other substitute, Pedro Diaz, gets a touch. Back to Mendy again, and across it comes to Lejeune, and it means Pathé Ciss, who was playing centre-back, Paul, has just stepped forward into that defensive midfield role.
Yeah, slight shape change allows Pathé Ciss, the one that to go forward to add extra strength in that midfield, with Mendy coming on. They'll play a flat back four. At the moment they've got two centre-halves, the two full-backs are looking to push on, and it's a game now that they've obviously got to chase.
Yeah, well into the last half hour of this final. Crystal Palace fans, right from the start, have not stopped singing. What a night, what a trip so far it has been for them. Leading 1-0, the Mateta goal in the 51st minute of this final, and space is opening up, and Mitchell does well to control that ball on the left, brings it infield. Diaz looks to make the challenge, back to Kamada, wide to Pino. Pino a definite danger man for Palace now. Mitchell in central midfield, full of confidence here, holds off the challenge of Garcia, finds Sarr in the penalty area, drives it with his right foot into the side netting. Ambitious effort, the angle was tight, that will be a goal kick.
Chose the wrong option, finds himself in a really good position. Excellent work on the left from Mitchell, slots the ball in between the defenders. Sarr's in, he's in a really excellent position to play the ball across the 6-yard box, and he goes for the spectacular, he goes for the goalkeeper's near post. He was never going to score from that tight angle. The better option was to play it across the 6-yard box, where he had some of his teammates. Just looking at the manager on the screen, turning away in frustration, applauds in the end, but he knows that he made the wrong choice.
All going to plan for Oliver Glasner so far, wishing, I'm sure, that another one of these chances in the second half has gone in. Leading just 1-0 at the moment. Free kick goes against Crystal Palace, centre circle, Pathé Ciss comes forward, side foots the pass here to Diaz, wide to his right to Rachu, but that is off target, goes straight out of play. Throw in for Palace in the left-back position.
Do you think there's anywhere in this world that Glasner actually stays and does a U-turn? I mean, you look at Areola and you look at what he's done with Bournemouth, and he's obviously leaving the club, taking them to European football. Yeah. But all these top jobs, they're slowly disappearing now. If Jose's going back to Real Madrid, you know, Xavi Alonso's in at Chelsea, all these top jobs that are touted about, we're thinking that Maresca's maybe going to go back to Manchester City. You know, all the avenues are closing in front of him. I don't, do you know?
I've got a feeling, Paul, that is a question that will come his way after this final, straight away tonight. Said back in January that this would be his last season. What an incredible job he has done for Crystal Palace, winning their first trophy in 120 years in that FA Cup final at the end of last season against Manchester City. Now here in this European final, winning this 1-0. Community Shield as well, winning that against Liverpool on the penalty shootout. Interception here from Canvo in the right-back position. Little shoulder shake from him to lose his man. Kamada goes speeding away across the Crystal Palace half, chased by the fresh legs of Pedro Diaz, but pass finds Riyad. They look a different team in the second half here, Crystal Palace, particularly with that goal behind them. Now just need to try and find the second to make it almost impossible for Rayo Vallecano, who do, as we were saying before the game, do struggle to score goals at times to get back into this one.
They look the better team, Palace, without a doubt. It's like they've come out in the second half and gone, we're actually better than that.
Given the ball away? No, they haven't. Lejeune has fouled Mateta as he ran through to intercept in front of Mateta there. Didn't seem to be too much in that.
Tip the referee. Tip the referee. The referee stopped it. We're just getting to see the replay on our monitor. It's had a tiny touch off the referee, which has aided the Vallecano player, so he's had to stop it.
That is unfortunate, because that didn't really have a material impact, and Lejeune had read that well, and he was away and clear. For a minute there, I thought Mateta was going to want to contest the drop ball. Sensibly decided to back off, but that was just half a chance for Lejeune to come speeding forward into the Palace midfield, and that has been denied him. We're almost midway through the second half here. Time running away for Rayo Vallecano very quickly indeed. Palazon back inside his own half to the substitute Mendy. Bobbly pass across to Lejeune. Lejeune's low ball forward into the Palace half. Riyad is breathing down the neck of De Frutos. A little bit over-eager in the challenge, has fouled him from behind there, so that is going to be a free kick to Vallecano. Lejeune sees Chavarria making a run up the left. Palazon's first time ball is a good one. Danger for Palace here. Garcia touch down to the dead ball line, blocked by Lacroix. Shot comes in into the side netting. Henderson had that covered. It goes behind for the goal kick, and that is why Crystal Palace have got to remain alert.
Well, that's the warning shot. Yes, they're on top of this game, and yes, they're playing well. They were looking like the ones to get the next goal, but actually very quickly on the counter-attack, Palazon plays a lovely ball in behind, and the Crystal Palace defence all of a sudden find themselves completely exposed. Garcia down the left-hand side, ball ends up in the side netting, but that's good forward intent from Vallecano, and a warning for Palace.
Goal kick, Crystal Palace. Dean Henderson taking his time. Deep breath from the goalkeeper with his white gloves, dark grey goalkeeping outfit, floodlights shining brightly under the night sky here in Germany. Ball is headed forward into the Palace half. Alamau is bumped to the ground by Lacroix. Lacroix claims it was shoulder to shoulder. Referee Mariani doesn't agree. That will be a free kick for Vallecano. Still Palace 1, Vallecano 0. And we've got 22 minutes plus added time to play. Crystal Palace 22 minutes away from becoming only the 12th English club to win one of UEFA's major European trophies, which will be quite some achievement. Quite the 12 months, quite the season for Crystal Palace, given everything they've been through, particularly off the field this season. Offside flag goes up against Vallecano, so that will be a free kick for Palace, and Vallecano about to make a couple more changes here. I think Garcia is one of those coming off. Sergio Cameo will come on, and Jorge De Frutos. So the two wide men being replaced by Sergio Cameo and Alfonso Espino, the Uruguayan, who started in the wide left attacking position in the second leg of the semi-final against Strasbourg. And Sergio Cameo has been scoring goals recently, 5 in his last 6 appearances in La Liga in Spain. But they need something now because time is running out. 20 minutes to go. Paul Robinson.
The two wide players that have just come on have immediately gone up and played alongside the big centre forward. They're playing with a front 3 now, which in turn it does leave them exposed in the back areas.
Mateta tries a dribble, stopped by Cease, goes back, collects the ball. Wide it goes to Munoz. Crystal Palace 20 minutes plus added time away from another famous win in a big final. These fans getting used to it. If they win it, Europa League football for Crystal Palace next season. Here's Canvo. Canvo, good skills, gets away from Palazon, then tries to slide a pass through the legs of Cease. Last touch comes off the Palace player Canvo and goes out for the throw into Vallecano.
It's that horrible stage of the game where you've got a 1-0 lead. You can feel the tempo from Palace. It's just ever so slightly dropped off. Now all of a sudden it's, yes, we're a solid defensive unit. We'll play in the back 5. When we're out of possession, we won't commit too many players forward. Just nudging that 20 minutes to go mark. Do we hold on to what we've got without leaving ourselves too exposed?
Pino, good first time ball found Sarr. Control slightly let him down. Munoz is late with the challenge on Pedro Diaz there. So that will be a free kick for Vallecano, who need to get on with things here. 19 minutes plus added time to go. In space on the left-hand side is Espino. Takes a touch, early cross comes in, Lacroix is there, heads the ball away, bounces 40 yards from the Palace goal. Diaz leaps, nods it to his right-hand side. Rachu dummies to shoot, just outside the area, chipped into the far post, headed wide by Espino on the charge, and the ball has gone behind for the goal kick to Crystal Palace. And Dean Henderson immediately gets round all his defenders and congratulates him for the job done, particularly Daniel Munoz, who headed the ball behind. So it would have been a corner. Did an offside flag go up?
Excellent piece of defending. It really was. He gave it for the foul. I think there was a push in the back of Munoz. Munoz gets back goal side. He gets in front of the Vallecano substitute that's just come on. He gets the slightest of touch on his head, take it out the danger area. Really brave and good piece of defending from Munoz.
Going to be some night for these Crystal Palace fans tonight. Our hotel, Paul, is pretty much city centre. Could be quite noisy, I think, as we're trying to get some shut-eye this evening.
Well, not in my room, it won't be. My room's right in the bowels of the hotel. I think they took the mops and buckets out before they put my bed in.
Here's Pino, finds Sarr. Again, Sarr's first touch just let him down. He was trying to set himself up for the shot on the edge of the box. Munoz goes down in an attacking position. Palace still going forward here, but now they're going to have to get back in numbers as Vallecano work the ball to the right. Here's the right-back, Rayo again. Cameo run beyond him, and the pass is beyond Cameo. Too much on that. Big roars from the Palace fans as it goes behind for the goal kick. Palace 1, Vallecano 0.
You can see what they're trying now. It's been an ever so slight shape change from them. The two substitutes are definitely playing higher up. Espino and Cameo have both come on the plane alongside the centre forward. Twice they've got in now behind Crystal Palace's defence in the wide areas.
Just being shown again those so nearlies for Crystal Palace after the goal from Mateta, the Pino free kick that came off both posts, the rebound that struck the post again, the save from Bataya. Just sort of tee you up, don't you? It's a sort of TV director's match narrative. Look at the chances they could have scored. What if Vallecano get themselves the equaliser, and then on we go into extra time? But Palace still have another goal in them as well, it seems like. So we could get a very entertaining last 17 minutes or so, plus the added time that is to come. Palace leading 1-0. Florian Lejeune rumbling forward inside his own half. Slow pass to Diaz. Diaz picks up the pace, crosses the halfway line for Vallecano. Wharton chases him across the pitch. Palazon, little bit of a dinky dribble, then a trip just outside the penalty area. That is given as a free kick. Shooting position, another yellow card. Yeremy Pino complains about that, but Crystal Palace and Dean Henderson need to get organised here as Palace wait to make their first change in this second half, their first change in this final. Jorgen Strand-Larsen getting ready to come on.
Yeah, it was a clumsy challenge. That's the last thing that Crystal Palace need, is to be giving free kicks away in these type of areas. Slowly trying to creep their way back into this game, Vallecano, but this is a real opportunity. It's a free kick in a good position, one needlessly given away.
So what can Vallecano muster from this? Florian Lejeune is standing there. I was watching him strike some dead balls in the warm-up from outrageous positions, hitting them with swerve and dip and striking them really, really well. Centre-back who was signed by Manchester City, never played any first-team football for them, made just under 50 appearances for Newcastle under Rafa Benitez and Steve Bruce. He is there, but so is Palazon. Palazon more of the magician. Little figure with the bald head, wipes the beads of sweat from his forehead. Vallecano have their own little wall in front of the Palace defensive wall. The whistle blows, tense moments. Here he is, Palazon from range, well off target and behind for the goal kick. Jeered by the Crystal Palace fans around us.
As I think they will every time that the ball goes out of play between now and the final whistle if the scoreline stays the same. He's certainly not in a rush, Dean Henderson. Vallecano players are trying to give him the hurry up, bringing the ball off the plastic cone behind, putting it on the 6-yard line for him.
Here we go then, Jean-Philippe Mateta, replaced by Jorgen Strand-Larsen, who was signed for big money, just shy of £50 million in the January transfer window, when it looked like Mateta might be on his way. Great options for Oliver Glasner to have, but it could end up being Mateta, the man who makes the headlines, who scored the goal that wins Palace this European trophy. Plenty of football still to be played before then. 15 minutes plus added time, and you do know this team, where they come from, what they stand for, Rayo Vallecano, will not go down without a fight. Mitchell on his game, closes that down from Rachu, blocks the ball, and it goes out for a throw into Vallecano, which they take quickly and come back to their goalkeeper, Bataya. Bataya runs forward inside his penalty area. Strand-Larsen backs off. So Strand-Larsen now is the centre forward with Pino and Sarri the side of him. Bataya at walking pace, 10 yards outside his penalty area to Lejeune, forward to Palazon. Palazon just moves away from Kamada, passes back to Lejeune, gets his head up looks for options, forward to Diaz, just inside his own half. Diaz runs with the ball at his feet for about 15 yards. Down the left it goes. Cameo's pass, Spino there, his ball forward is blocked, and that goes out for a throw into Vallecano.
Yeah, nervy moments for Crystal Palace. They shouldn't be in this situation. They should be out of sight by now. Two wonderful opportunities to get that second goal. And we're entering that stage of the game now where they're looking like they're going to be trying to hold on to what they've got. It's going to be a long 15 minutes.
The Moroccan Ilyas Akomak, the latest sub to come on for Rayo Vallecano, one of the many players on loan at the club this season, on loan from Villarreal. So he is on. Another roll of the dice from Inigo Perez, replacing Palazon, who sprinted off because he knows time is of the essence for Rayo Vallecano, who managed to down Strasbourg, one of the pre-tournament favourites in the semi-final. But at the moment, Palace, the favourites for this final, are ahead. There's Cease, good bit of skill in the midfield. Strand Larsen comes back to chase. Ball is loose just outside the Palace area. Lacroix puts a steady foot on it, clears up towards the halfway line. Wharton nods it down, stabbed back by Strand Larsen towards Kamada. But now Rachu is there, and his pass blocked by Yeremy Pino, and it goes out for a throw into Vallecano. And Palace is intent on not letting Vallecano build up any rhythm, momentum.
It's about calm heads, coolness, getting on the ball, running the clock down, keeping the possession when you can, but also at the same time you don't lose the attacking threat. Sometimes the best form of defence is attack, and that showed with Palace in the early part of this second half, when they were clearly the better side, but now at the moment they're dropping off.
Miscued header by Mitchell. Vallecano in on the right-hand side. A little bit of trickery from Rachu. Henderson comes out to block. He's well out of his goal, but Mitchell is able to hook the ball away. Pino completes the clearance. Up in the air it goes. Strand Larsen flicks it on. Couldn't find a teammate. Didn't really matter. Just needed to get the ball clear. Now it's inside the Vallecano half, and Sarr goes sprinting forward to put Bataya, the goalkeeper, under pressure. Away it goes with his right foot. Controlled in the centre circle by Diaz. You sense the urgency at the moment here from Vallecano, bringing the ball forward at speed. It goes out to Chavarria. Cross comes in from the left-hand side. Cleared now. Pedro Diaz on the edge of the penalty area. Couldn't get that down to try and tee himself up for the shot. And Palace get bodies in the way and get the ball away again. Cease manages to keep it in play on the right. Here's Diaz. Diaz knocks it into the feet of Cameo, and Palace have just dropped a little here.
Just looking down beneath us, one of the Crystal Palace journalists, he's just mocking up a montage of all the Crystal Palace players with a great big winners sticker over the front of it. Lejeune
does hit one from range. I was talking about his dead ball striking before the game. That wasn't one of the ones I saw. Has dragged it well wide of the target, and that sort of effort sums up a little bit of desperation. That's his job, Paul, isn't it? He's obviously got to do that, but that, to me, that would really feel like potentially jinxing it.
It's just a little look behind the curtain, isn't it, for our listeners,
exactly.
what we see in the press box. I mean, the amount of times that we see the journalists sat up here in and around us, they've already written their piece, they've already written the headlines, and they've had to go, delete. Back in the olden days, get the Tipex out, erase it all out and start again. But it's great. I mean, this picture that I can see on his laptop in front, it's one of Oliver Glasner right in the middle, surrounded by a lot of Crystal Palace players, and across the middle it just says winners and the picture of the Europa Conference League trophy. Tempting fate.
Very much so. 10 minutes to go, but that is the job that he's got to do. Got to be ready for when the moment comes. You can see a young Vallecano fan, young boy in floods of tears, but still cheering his team on for all he's worth. It is not over yet, young man. 10 minutes to go, plus added time. Yeremy Pino off. Evan Gesson is on for Crystal Palace. You're listening to us on 5 Live, BBC Sounds, BBC London. Thousands of fans at Selhurst Park tonight as well who couldn't get a ticket for this game. Something like 18,000 Crystal Palace fans loving the night inside this stadium. I would say thousands more inside the city as well. And here they come, coming forward again into the Vallecano half. Riyad ran out of ideas, space, teammates, anything to do there. Eventually loses the ball. Diaz has it for Vallecano. Plays it to his right-hand side. That ball forward is blocked by Akamak and goes out for a throw into Vallecano. Keeping an eye on the stopwatch all the time. Down to 9 minutes to play, plus added time. That is how close Crystal Palace are to another famous night, incredible night, magical night in their history. And don't you just know it, with those Palace fans letting us know all around us. It's Vallecano possession at the moment, though. Nice turn from Akamak. Definite foul from Riyad. I'd be surprised if he's not booked for that. He is booked for that.
It's a clever foul. It really was a clever foul because they've got the overlap going on the outside. The substitute, Espino, it's an excellent overlap. And he'd been rolled at Riyad, and he knew that he was getting away from him. Sensible foul, clever foul in that area of the pitch as well.
Free kick Vallecano. All those blue and red striped shirts back in defensive numbers, right on the edge of the Crystal Palace penalty area. They've kept the goal intact so far. That's delivered with pace from the right-hand side. Cease jumps to win the header. Drops on the edge of the box. Half volley from Cameo, well over the crossbar. Dean Henderson not worried about that. Lets it disappear behind and won't rush to get the replacement ball. So instead, Alamau, the centre-forward for Vallecano, will do that job for him. 83rd minute of the game. Palace 1, Vallecano 0.
That was well defended by Palace. Could have been an awkward set play. It was a simple header away. And Cameo on the edge of the box. Dean Henderson will be more than happy if the shots are kept from that type of distance. Although they have had some pressure, Dean Henderson's not really had a lot to do in the Crystal Palace goal.
Flip forward by Guesson, looking for Sarr. That runs through into the Vallecano penalty area. Bowled out underarm by the goalkeeper, Bataya, who could only palm the Adam Wharton shot into the path of Jean-Philippe Mateta, who could not believe his luck. Off to the World Cup with France this summer and could be going as the winner of a European trophy with his club, Crystal Palace, and who knows where he'll be next season. All of those questions still to come. Crystal Palace fans not worried about that right now. Diagonal ball out to the left-hand side, intercepted by Munoz. The indefatigable Munoz still charging down the right for Palace, looking for the pass infield to Sarr. That's blocked. Now Munoz has got to try and get back. Here's Pedro Diaz, who has added a bit of freshness to the Vallecano midfield. Straight ball up towards Akamak. Sliding challenge from Guesson is a clean one and a good one for Crystal Palace. Then the pass goes out to the left. Kamada wasn't there to collect it. Vallecano have the ball back.
Now they're in full defensive mode at the moment, Crystal Palace. Strand Larsen is trying to work hard, and he's committed himself backwards for the challenges in his defensive role. But actually in doing that and sitting so deep, they've got no outball now, Crystal Palace. He needs to make himself that figure, that outlet, that they've got an outball.
Ticking over into the 85th minute of this final. Scrappy first half, quality was low. Palace really stepped on the gas in the first 10-15 minutes of the second half. Could have been 2 or 3 to the good, but the reason it's so tense, it is still only 1-0. Here's Strand Larsen, good bit of skill inside his own half, and that is a yellow card for the challenge by Noble Mendy on him. And Strand Larsen has not only won his team a free kick, he's bought them a bit of time too and a bit of breathing space.
You see, that's so much better from Strand Larsen. Exactly what I was talking about. He was at the figurehead of the attack there. It was good centre-forward play. He's back to play. Nobody around him. Just tries to hold the ball up, waiting for his teammates. Draws the foul, attracts the attention of the central defender. Clumsy challenge, breaks the game up. Palace will take their time.
So free kick Crystal Palace. Inside the centre circle, Maxence Lacroix stands over the ball. These players concentrating intently on the job that still needs to be done, but these fans around us dreaming of the celebrations to come. Munoz passes back to Canvo. Canvo infield to Wharton, turns on the ball, floats it towards Guesson. It's over Guesson's head, covered by Rachu in behind, knocks it into the shins of Mitchell, comes off the corner flag and goes behind for a goal kick to Rayo Vallecano.
It's a good area. It's better for Palace pressing that high up this late in the game. You can see now the game's very stretched. Palace have got the press on the edge of the 18-yard box, trying to stop Vallecano playing out, but the ball goes long. The game is extremely stretched. A lot of space in the middle of the pitch.
Wharton's first time pass finds Munoz. Sarr challenged by Mendy. That is a foul. He was looking to get the ball, came through the back of Sarr. Sarr flat on his back, breathing heavily. He's going to be okay. Hauled to his feet by Adam Wharton. And the Palace fans again, great sight all around us. 2 tiers of them decked out in the red and blue. Giant flags are waving, hands clapping in unison, bellowing out the songs and heading towards another trophy. Kamada's pass is blocked. What an incredible job Oliver Glasner has done for them. Europa League winner, of course, with Frankfurt back in 2022. FA Cup winner, Community Shield winner, and now looks like he's going to be a winner in Europe again. 3.5 minutes plus added time to go. Rachu's, no, he didn't keep that in play. That'll be a throw into Palace on the left, just inside the Vallecano half, and you can see Glasner issuing the instructions there to Strand Larsen what to do from this throw-in. Every detail is covered, shouting at others to take up their positions. Strand Larsen beaten to the ball by Lejeune, blocked by Mitchell. Comes across here to Chavarria for Vallecano, who've not really forced Dean Henderson into a save in this game. There was the Unai Lopez strike towards the end of the first half that went wide of his post, but other than that,
it's been from distance. They've not really troubled the England goalkeeper. He's had a comfortable evening thus far, and he'll want it to stay that way. Although that stadium clock, every time I look at it, even though, you know, from a neutral perception as well, it does seem to be going very, very slow. So you can imagine what it feels like for the Crystal Palace fans. This second half must seem like an eternity. Well, it seems like a long time ago since Jeremy Pino struck both posts.
Yeah. 88th minute of the game. Free kick here for Vallecano. Their manager, Inigo Perez, well up the right-hand touchline here. Balling instructions across the field. Fourth official just reminds him to get into that technical area. He's not bothered about that. Free kick for Vallecano into the Palace area. Lejeune, powerful header, way too high, way wide of the target, and behind for the goal kick to Crystal Palace. And the same thing plays out again. Alamau, Vallecano's centre forward, races behind the dead ball line to pick up the replacement ball, to give it to Dean Henderson, to ask him to get on with things. The England goalkeeper will be in no hurry. And the Palace fans had just gone, they were just building the energy again for one last blast to bring their team across the finish line. Definitely going to be, if it goes their way, if there's no late drama for Palace here, one of those I was there nights as the Crystal Palace fans. Strand Larsen's pass to Munoz, who looked to me as though he might be in an offside position, but he finds Sarr. Back to Strand Larsen, tries to bundle his way into the penalty area. Lejeune clears it on the half volley. Alamau's chasing this into the Palace half, tries to bring the ball down. Lacroix on the bouncing ball sticks his head in the way. Canvo then gets his body in the way, and Alamau bumps into him, knocks him over, and that'll be a free kick for Crystal Palace.
Clever defending from Canvo. Good, brave defending from Lacroix first. Puts his head where the striker's boot was, and then Canvo gets his body back in goal side, and he just draws the foul. He knows exactly what's coming. Big centre forward bumps into the back of him, and he goes over, buys the free kick, fist pumps the air, celebrates winning a free kick.
So free kick Palace, 90th minute of the game. They are almost there. 5 Live, BBC Sounds, BBC London, live in Leipzig. The glory is nearly Crystal Palace's again, playing in European football for the first time this season in this final, and leading through the Mateta goal. And Munoz wins them another throw-in, and again pumped up, turns to the Palace fans and asks them for a little bit more. I don't think you can ask anything more of these Crystal Palace fans tonight.
Been excellent, haven't they? They really have. I mean, all of yesterday and this afternoon, just walking around the city, the way that they've conducted themselves and the way that they've behaved here inside the stadium, they've been a credit.
So here we go then, Palace throw. Ticking towards added time. Munoz's throw, looking for Strand Larsen, headed out of the box. Wharton nods it to the right. Munoz side foots a pass back towards him. Kamada gets a touch on the ball. Strand Larsen plays it to Sarr on the right. Can they put the cherry on the cake? Wharton with a little dribble inside the penalty area, tries to get the cross in. That is blocked. He wants a corner. Assistant referee says goal kick. 5 minutes of added time. 5 minutes of this final remaining. Vallecano go quickly. The goalkeeper Bataya's ball collected here by Cameo on the halfway line. Palace very quickly back behind the ball. Strand Larsen amongst them as well. Wide it goes to Chavarria. Last chance saloon for Rayo Vallecano. Low ball into the edge of the penalty area. Here's Cameo. Palace shirts in front of him. Ball floated to the far post. Mitchell read that really well. Heads it away. Chases his own header at full gas down the left-hand side. Eventually beaten to that ball. Rachu got his body in the way, but Palace have intercepted it, and here they come. It's 3-on-2 for Crystal Palace, charging forward. Mitchell might go it alone here, tries the shot, ran out of gas, gets it blocked, and it goes behind for the corner.
Oh, he got it all wrong. That was another big moment for Mitchell down the left-hand side. As you say, they were 3-on-2. He had Strand Larsen in the middle. They were making ground up. Sarr was alongside him. I think he just waited too long. The goalkeeper was trying to anticipate the cross ball, and I think that just caught Mitchell's eyes. He saw the goalkeeper moving out towards the middle of the box, and he thought, I'm going to take this myself. But by the time he did that, the Vallecano defender had closed him down. But still, Palace have got a corner. This is the end where they need to be.
into added time. We've already played a minute and a half of that. 3.5 minutes to go. The Palace fans can barely contain themselves. Singing, chanting, smiling, already hugging, embracing, filming the crucial action right at the end of this game. And it's their team that has the ball in an attacking area, leading this final by 1-0. Mateta's crucial strike into the empty net early in the second half. Yellow card is shown to Espino for a foul, and Crystal Palace will lap that up and say thank you very much, we'll take our time over the free kick. And all of a sudden, conveniently, they can't find a ball to take that with, so Pathé Ciss comes running across for Vallecano and puts a ball down on the field for them.
That's what it's all about now. That's it. We're in the last knock-ins of this game for Crystal Palace, and it is just about waiting to find that final whistle now. See the game through. Keep concentration, do the right things, take no chances with the ball and play at this end.
Oh, great skills from Gesson, looking for the cross into Sarr. It might fall to Strand Larsen, it doesn't quite. Vallecano managed to get the ball away. Sliding challenge from Strand Larsen, wins the ball, drags his studs over it, tries a little trick on the edge of the box. Cameo back on his feet, Strand Larsen hauls him to the ground. That will be a free kick for Vallecano, keeping an eye on the stopwatch. Just over 2 minutes to play, 120 seconds and a little bit more. That is all that is left for Crystal Palace to hold on and claim another precious prize. Bataya, the goalkeeper for Vallecano, puts the ball down inside his own half, into the last 2 minutes of this final in Leipzig. Spinning ball, drops 10 yards outside the Crystal Palace penalty. Strand Larsen, absolutely no nonsense. It fell to him. He hasn't even looked there, he's just swung a right foot at the ball, knocked it out of play. He's actually kicked it behind him, and it's a throw-in 20 yards from goal for Vallecano.
It was like a rugby union player kicking for touch, but it actually went 20 yards from behind where he started.
Espino's throw comes into the penalty area. Karma header away from Lacroix. Diaz, long way out, skidding shot. That's what it's been all night from Vallecano. They won a corner. That didn't touch a Palace player on the way through. Henderson will happily watch that go behind. That'll be a goal kick for Crystal Palace. They're almost there.
Surely they've done it now. The fans' nervous energy around as it's started to turn to belief. They really believe that they've got it over the line. It's not been pretty at times, but they've been the better team. They'll kill the game now. They'll waste time. Dean Henderson will go long. I mean, we can't be far away now. We can't be far away, surely.
Oliver Glasner's just gone over to check with the fourth official. Well, I can tell you, Oliver, it is 1 minute to go. You and your team are 1 minute away from giving these Palace fans another magical footballing occasion. 50 seconds or so to go. Vallecano throwing everything at it. Bataya drives the ball long. Diaz jumps to win the header. Riyad is there first for Crystal Palace. Clears it away with his left foot. Strand Larsen lets it bounce. He's got Mendy behind him. Sarr makes the run beyond.
That's
Strand Larsen...
That's a foul, surely.
Falls to the ground but doesn't get the decision. Diaz passes away to his right-hand side. 20 seconds to play. Last attack here for Rayo Vallecano, and Crystal Palace in sight of the finishing line. Alamau chests it down, drives the shot wide, behind it goes for the goal kick. I saw Daichi Kamada there celebrating with both arms in the air. He knows this full-time whistle is coming any second, and again the Palace players ask for more from the Palace fans. What a team they've been, what a club they've been tonight and throughout the season. Dean Henderson, the captain, waves everyone forward. The celebrations are surely about to begin. I can see the whistle in the referee's lips. They have done it. It's another trophy for Crystal Palace. What an incredible 12 months it has been for this football club. Just over a year ago, it was the FA Cup final at Wembley, won by Eberechi Eze. And then a year later, on a beautiful balmy night in Leipzig, they celebrate again. They win a European trophy in their first ever European campaign. The Community Shield has come in between that as well. 120 years without a trophy, and now they've got 3 in the cabinet. What is it they say about those London buses? What a win for Crystal Palace. What a night for the fans. What a job Oliver Glasner and his players have done to give these fans a night they will never, ever forget. Mateta with the winner, and the celebrations again belong to Crystal Palace. They won in Europe.
Memories made for a lifetime. Just listen at that noise after the final whistle. The Crystal Palace supporters, they've done themselves proud, and their team have done them proud as well. They've been absolutely excellent on the field tonight. It's not been the prettiest of games at times, but they've worked hard, they've stuck to the game plan. The big players in the big moments, Adam Wharton, Mateta, they've stepped up when it was really asked of them, and they've found a way, Crystal Palace, against a difficult opponent. Many special memories made here tonight, and the scenes and the pictures that will last forever. Brilliant occasion.
Crystal Palace players all embracing, hugging, rejoicing on the pitch. Vallecano players beaten, consoling each other. The right-hand side of the stadium awash with joy and singing and noise, as it has been all night. Crystal Palace starting the final as favourites tonight. Scrappy first half, weren't at their best, but came out as a totally different team at the start of the second half. And Jean-Philippe Mateta is the man to score the crucial goal to win the latest trophy in what's been a roller coaster, an incredible 12 months or so for Crystal Palace Football Club. They've beaten Vallecano by 1-0.
And there are embraces everywhere on that pitch in the Leipzig arena at the moment. Dean Henderson and Oliver Glasner embracing, whilst teammates and other players dance with joy. At the other end, you've got tears of sadness, and actually my pictures are showing an awful lot of Rayo Vallecano fans in tears. I can't think of actually seeing a final where I've seen a fan base more in tears than Rayo Vallecano actually at the moment. But that goes back, Alistair, to the point right at the very start of what this meant for these two clubs. Yeah, and I think, and they're not just a football club, are they? That's what we've learnt about Rayo Vallecano. It's all about that community they come from, the underdogs, and the whole ethos around the club and the connection between the players and the fans and what it stands for. And what a rare opportunity this is. I mean, a first ever major final for them in over 100 years of playing the game. 2 semi-finals in the Copa del Rey. Have done amazingly well to make the final, beating Strasbourg in the semis, and just didn't quite have enough to get past Crystal Palace in the final. But I think the Palace fans recognise that too. They are enjoying the celebrations with their team, but I think they'll understand the pain and be able to have some empathy there for the Vallecano fans. Yeah, and actually that's what the contrast was kind of why I highlighted it, Paul, in that if it had been the other way around, which it isn't, those tears would have been flooding in the Palace end as well, whereas the joy is uncontrolled at the moment.
And not one person has left the stadium, Mark. Not one person. The Vallecano supporters is away to our left. Their team stood on the 18-yard box just looking back at their supporters, exchanging pleasantries. The supporters are singing to their own team. I mean, it's an incredible scene that we've got, because 9 times out of 10, if a team lose the final, you don't want to sit around and watch the opposition celebrating. You don't want to see them lift a trophy, but nobody's left.
This is, I mean, Palace are the story, and we will dissect their performance and what this means for them and Oliver Glasner and various players. But genuinely, there are several Vallecano players sobbing, Ali, in front of their fans at the moment. I can't think of another final that I've seen with the reaction of the defeated as emotional as this is.
Yeah, and you're right, Mark, and the fact that we and the TV, pictures are concentrating so much on them, and you wouldn't want to speak for them because you don't understand, but it'll be because, I guess, they feel that they've let their community down, that they've let those fans down. They haven't. No. They haven't at all. Just to get to this final, quite remarkable. Maybe they didn't feel they showed their best stuff, but Palace won that. I felt that Palace won that final rather than Vallecano lost it with that spell in the first 15-20 minutes of the second half. And at the start of this competition, everyone would say that Palace, Strasbourg, particularly those two, were picked out as the teams that should be winning this competition, and that certainly shouldn't cheapen the achievement, or we shouldn't underestimate what they've done to do that. But again, for Vallecano to be here, given the resources they operate with, incredible, really, and that's why it means so much and it hurts so much.
And it is all generations who are crying in that Rayo Vallecano end as well. It is young and old alike who are in tears as the two managers embrace now and congratulate or commiserate with each other. And as far as the match is concerned, Paul, once they scored, they then kept Rayo Vallecano at arm's length, didn't they?
They were the better side. They looked like the Premier League side. We always talk about the Premier League and it being such a strong league. And you look at the fact that 2 English clubs have won 2 European competitions already, and we've got another one to come at the weekend with Arsenal there. You see the dominance of the Premier League side. Palace went into this as favourites, but the first half was nervy, it was edgy, they didn't play to their full potential, and it was almost like Oliver Glasner had said that to them at half-time. Like, you are better than these, believe in yourself, take more opportunities, press higher up the field, take more risks, and impose your strength on the game. And that's exactly what they did. They looked like the better side in the second half, and their goal was never troubled.
No, I can't actually think of a Dean Henderson save.
No, he didn't. He was very, very underemployed. From a Vallecano point of view, we analysed their team before the game and we looked at the goals that they haven't scored, and they are pretty toothless. They create chances, but they don't really take many chances. And saying that tonight, Palace kept them at bay very, very well. They protected Dean Henderson excellently and kept everything in front of him outside the box.
I don't know if Clinton's there yet. Are you there, Clinton?
No, I'm here. I've been listening the whole time.
Yeah,
I'm here, mate.
I thought you got on a lap of your house to celebrate the victory.
I could have done that, but I'm professional. I'm just trying to be professional. But
you don't have to. Left. He ain't got time to get around his house.
I knew that was coming.
You don't have to be professional at all.
Oh, moments like this is what you live for, chappers. And yeah, it's fantastic. But the club deserve it. When you're born and bred in South London and you get special moments. I was there at the FA Cup when they beat Man City, and to watch it here with my family it's amazing. What a great achievement from Crystal Palace. But yeah, this is a special one tonight because I just listened to Robbo and what Ali was saying, and I think the 15 minutes, 20 minutes after half-time, I thought Palace were outstanding, and that's where they won the game.
Because these are moments that many a Crystal Palace fan, probably the majority of Crystal Palace fans, would never have thought they would ever see. And that's never a criticism of players or of the board or a manager, but history tells you, or it did up until 12 months ago, history tells you that Crystal Palace fans don't see this.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't think I'd see this in my lifetime. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think there'd be me win 2 major trophies like they've won. So, as I said, huge credit to everyone at that football club from the hierarchy down. And they employed a manager in Oliver Glasner, who not a lot of us knew about, chappers, when he came to the Premier League. I knew what he'd done at Frankfurt, but I didn't think he'd have the impact that he's had on Crystal Palace. And this is what I'm saying. You always got to keep believing. Every team can do it. Palace can go on and do it. Every team could got to believe they can go and do it. It's a great achievement from everyone at that football club.
Talk to me about Mateta's finish, which it'll never win a goal of the month.
No.
But it's instinctive, and the ball comes to him quickly off the goalkeeper.
Chappers, I made a living out of that. I couldn't strike a ball from outside the box, but one thing you do, they're the best goals, the reaction goals. I think Adam Wharton does ever so well, and the keeper parries it, thinks he parries it into the danger, away from the goal, and Mateta reacts quickly. And it's a difficult finish, because you have to control that. If you get the wrong contact, it can go wide, it can go over the bar, but he controls it ever so well. It might not even have hit his boot, it might have hit his shin, but yeah, it's a good, well-controlled finish. But what I liked about him, he's in the 6-yard box, and that's where you want your strikers, and he's the first one to react. He reacts before the defenders, and it's a really good finish from Mateta, who I thought deserved it. I thought he led the line ever so well. And I said it to Palace fans a few months ago. I said, you'll need Mateta. Not worth booing him, stick with him, because he'll have a big moment in the season. And what has he done? He's had a big moment tonight.
Is that the key to his goal? The anticipation.
Yeah, and he's in the area, so he reacts. So he's the one that expects. The defenders, it's difficult for them to react, but he's the one that reacts. He sees Adam Wharton's shot. He sees the goalkeeper's going to parry it. And everyone says, it's just fortunate you're in the right place at the right time. You react as a striker because you see a lot of strikers, they're the first ones to react in and around the 6-yard box. And I still think he's got a bit to do. Everyone says, it's an easy finish, he should score. You've seen strikers miss from there, so he reacts ever so well. And I just like that he's in and amongst it in the 6-yard box. Too many times, chappers, you see strikers outside the box. He was alive inside the box.
He said to TNT post-match, I feel fantastic. I feel fantastic. We did it, first time in Europe. Now it's time to celebrate. Crazy moment. It's incredible. We gave everything, intensity. I'm tired right now. I give everything. The team did everything. And that's why we win today. I'm always with them, with the fans. They support me as a player as a lot. We did it for them too. You've got to admire his rise through the seasons, haven't you?
Oh, definitely. I remember it when when he signed, I said to Dougie, this guy, no way, I'm not having him. And I was like,
why weren't you having it?
Look, he couldn't control a football. He was nowhere near. I just thought every time it came up to him, it was bouncing off him. He didn't look like he was going to score goals. And I remember doing an interview with him, Chappers, at the start of the season at the training ground. And what a lovely guy, by the way, and one of my favourite footballers. And he was just saying he didn't really have the confidence back then. He always believed in himself, but managers didn't believe in himself. You know what changed, Chappers? He tucked his shirt in, and he was unstoppable after he tucked his shirt in. There was no looking back. He's the old-fashioned centre-forward, but his rise has been outstanding. And the more you believe in him, the more confidence he gets. And look, he's won this, and he's going to the World Cup with France. It could be a great summer for him.
When you did that interview with him, were you honest with him that you weren't having him at the start?
Yeah, it was a masterclass of finishing. So you know why he scored today. That's all I'm going to say, Chappers.
Oh, right, okay.
I'll just leave it there. But yeah, I did tell him that.
You told him to tuck his shirt in. You've turned his career around.
No, I told him to be in the 6-yard box and tap it in, Robbo.
He has been vital for them, Paul, hasn't he?
Oh, he's been superb, and the way that they play with that figurehead as a number 9, and like we said about him today in the first half, he had a fairly quiet game and he struggled to find space. He was getting crowded out by their 2 central defenders, but because he's such a big unit, because he's such a big presence, he attracts the attention of others around him, which then allows others on his side to pick up the space, to run into the gaps that are left by the central defenders that he's occupying. He's a real handful.
Just looking on the monitor as well, again, as the teams get ready for the presentation. Brennan Johnson and Jurgen Strand-Larsen hugging each other. They are Palace's future in many ways, aren't they, Clinton?
Yeah, they are. They need to deliver. He's not been the best from Brennan Johnson so far. Strand-Larsen scored a few goals, but I don't think he's no JP Mateta. I thought it was kind of damning the way. I thought Brennan Johnson might have gotten to the pitch today, but he favoured Gesson, who's only just come back from injury. So he needs to enjoy this, Brennan Johnson, have a good summer and kickstart his Palace career next season. Strand-Larsen will be the number 9 because, as I said, I don't think Mateta will be there next season. I pray that he is, but I just can't see it. So, yeah, both of them are the future, and they'll have to have really big seasons next season. See the chairman there walking out.
Yeah.
He's had a right go with his head this evening. I'm going to message him in a minute. He's had a right go.
He's had a right go with his hair, did you say?
His hair. It's not out of place. He just won and you thought it'd be a bit ruffled. He's definitely had the comb on that, for sure.
Well, maybe it's still set from Sunday, because I was thinking on Sunday, because he did the post-match interview with Glasner on the pitch, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it's still there. You can see it now. There's a bit of the front still sticking out a little bit, Chappers. So maybe he needs to get his hand and just fluff it back.
Tyreek Mitchell has said it's something you dream of, but you don't think it's reality. Today we showed it as reality. I'm proud of everyone, past and present, who's helped us achieve this dream. We've played 60 games. Our bodies aren't used to it. There were times when we weren't winning, but it's all meant that we got here and we won it, and we do it all over again. It's amazing. The same feeling we had when we won the FA Cup. Pure delight, pure emotions, and we're just happy we're able to get over the line. Clinton Morrison and Paul Robinson are with us, and Alistair Bruce Ball is watching the start of the presentation. The officials are just going through, or have just gone through, and the Palace players are forming a guard of honour, Ali, for Rayo Vallecano.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for the last couple of days, the mutual respect between the two clubs, the organisations, the sets of fans and the players as well. So it's the victors and the vanquished. The vanquished are Vallecano, the Palace supporters all around us applauding the beaten Spanish team who slowly trudge towards that stage. Just while you were talking to Clinton and Paul there, Mark, I was actually watching Vallecano. And as a team, and I know they regularly do this after every game, particularly the home games, they actually climbed over the advertising hoardings and stood arm in arm as an entire squad and just shared, I mean, it was 5-6 minutes they were standing there just looking at their fans applauding them and singing at them. That connection will never die, and they'll hope for great moments, great nights like this again. but they're not the ones to win the trophy. That big moment is coming for Crystal Palace soon. Jean-Philippe Mateta, almost as soon as the game was over, has had the GoPro out, so there's going to be so much footage of his all over the place. I can see Jefferson Lerma and Daniel Munoz already have the Colombian flags wrapped around their shoulders. And the point as well, Mark, I was saying before the game, in terms of English clubs winning European trophies, Crystal Palace only the 12th English club to win one of UEFA's major European trophies. They join Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur, Nottingham Forest, Manchester City, Aston Villa, Arsenal, West Ham, Ipswich and Everton. They join that list as a winner of one of UEFA's major European trophies, and that is quite some achievement, and it has been a wild last 12 months or so in terms of the games they've played and what they've been through and the celebrations that are going to come tonight.
Absolutely, and by winning the Conference League, they're into the Europa League for next season. And it means that so far English clubs have had 2 finals and won 2. The Europa League last week with Aston Villa, the Conference League now with Palace.
Yeah? Glasner's just went, I don't believe it, Oliver Glasner's done the Klinsmann. He's gone running down the tunnel of the Palace players. He got the Palace fans going beforehand, and he's done a full frontal dive before going up to the stage to collect his medal. And there is someone you always think is very dry and very straight, and barely cracks a smile, and that was brilliant.
Just had a big embrace with the chairman as well. Just had a big embrace, exchanged words as he's going up, walking past the trophy. I'm not so sure this story's finished. I want to get Clinton's opinion after this.
Okay. So Oliver Glasner is up there, straight face back on again now. He's had his fun. He's standing there with his medal and he's waiting for his players to join him. And they're moving along this line very quickly. Adam Wharton, possibly not fully fit tonight, but hit that shot that Bataille palmed away, that Jean-Philippe Mateta stuck away. He gets the medal around his neck. Daichi Kamada is next up. Europa League winner under Oliver Glasner a few years ago, and now Conference League winner with Crystal Palace. Jeremy Pino is there, Europa League winner himself with Villarreal back in 2021. Brennan Johnson gets another European medal, scored a winner that you saw, Paul, last year for Tottenham against Manchester United. Not involved tonight, but as Clinton Morrison says, a big part to come. Chris Richards didn't get on the field tonight. Dean Henderson will be the last man up to the stage. The club captain not really tested tonight. I wondered whether his penalty saving skills might have to come into it. They didn't, and the trophy, the prize, is sitting there glimmering and shining and waiting. An imitation really of the old UEFA Cup, current Europa League, giant bars sort of twisting, spirals that twist up to the opening at the top of the trophy, as these last few Palace players, including Ismaïla Sarr and Maxence Lacroix, who's another one we're not sure whether he's going to be there next season for Crystal Palace or not. But those will be questions for later and questions for further down the line, because Dean Henderson, the club captain, the first team captain, the goalkeeper, is about to get his hands on another precious prize for Crystal Palace Football Club. FA Cup last year, Community Shield at the start of the season, but a European trophy tonight as the glitter and the fireworks go off. Dean Henderson lifts the trophy above his head, rejoicing teammates jumping up and down behind him in celebration. Gold glitter falling everywhere all over the pitch. Jean-Philippe Mateta, the goal scorer, showing off some dance moves, and a night these Crystal Palace fans who were here to witness it in Leipzig will never ever forget. Crystal Palace have won a European trophy. Paul Robinson, very special moments. Special moments for all these Crystal Palace fans of all generations, not just inside the stadium, but this is where memories are made for life. One of the hardest things to do in football is to win a trophy, and this fantastic football club has done it twice in the recent year. A lot of quality on the pitch. The manager clearly has played a huge part in that. Potential times of change, but enjoy tonight, enjoy the time that you've got, because it's a really special moment to be a Crystal Palace fan. Right, a few of them have had a lift of the trophy, Mark, and now they're slowly walking all together as a group of players, as a squad. Dean Henderson, just waving both arms, trying to get the fans to build the noise, as Maxence Lacroix holds a left hand to his left ear, takes the medal from around his neck, breaks into a jog, then a sprint, and lost the trophy in the air 3 times, and launches it jubilantly above his head, followed by a posse of photographers. Crystal Palace loving the celebrations in Leipzig, and the Crystal Palace fans thanking them for every ounce of effort that those players have put in.
There are great scenes in Leipzig for Crystal Palace and their fans. Is Glasner with them, Ali, or has he gone to see a physio after?
That's the moment of the night, isn't it?
I know, isn't it?
Oliver Glasner, the Klinsmann. Where is he? No, he's at the back. You know, right? He's at the back. So the players are front and centre here. And Oliver Glasner, yes, he's just behind them. Dean Henderson is in the penalty area, way to our right. And Oliver Glasner is there with a big smile on his face and clapping his hands at the Palace fans.
The other thing that you saw on the pictures as well, Clint, I don't know whether you saw it, was that Adam Wharton had a water bottle, and therefore he actually prepared the turf beforehand to make it exactly how his manager would want it.
Yeah, I've seen it, making it all greasy and that. I'm like Ali and you and Robbo and Chappers. I've never seen him like that, Oliver Glasner. He's always serious and stuff like that. So to see those kind of emotions is brilliant, to be fair, and fair play to him.
So what are you thinking then, Paul?
I just don't know if the chapter's finished. I was speaking to Ali through the commentary, and you're looking at all the big jobs that are slowly closing up. If we're thinking that Maresca's getting Manchester City, Mourinho back to Real Madrid, Xavi Alonso in at Chelsea, the big jobs with the big names. Areola's obviously left Bournemouth. All these big names and the big jobs that are all linked. I just don't know. Is there any way, Clinton, can they persuade him?
I was exactly like you, mate, and when did I go to a game about a month ago? I was like, yeah, surely he's going to be staying. Surely he's going to be staying. There's no more jobs, but they were adamant that he's made his mind up and he's decided he wants a different challenge, even if he has to wait or it's someone somewhere in Europe. He's one of those. Once he makes his mind up, he sticks with it. But I'm like you, Robbo. You never know. I'm like you. You never know, because I thought exactly like you, Robbo. What job's available? He could be playing doing Europa League again next season and try and go for it there and do well in the Premier League. So you never know. I hope he does stay, but I don't think he will.
And for Palace to actually make a stance, to go to that next level, to not be that club that finishes 10th or 12th, not to be that club that has a good run in the cup one year and is always mid-table and the aim is to survive. You keep a manager like that, you try and make a statement, and then you keep the players, you keep Mateta, and you build from what you've got, rather than regress. Because if they lose Mateta, if they lose one or two more players and the manager, it's a whole rebuild, and they're almost back to where they were 2 years ago.
Do you not think that would be the issue for Glasner if he's under his watch, if he's lost Gay and lost Eze and Mateta may go and Wharton, or that he may just think, do you know what, even if there isn't something else out there at the moment, I'll bide my time.
He's found the ceiling, hasn't he? He's taken these to the ceiling with what he's got here, with the budget he's got, with the stadium that they've got, with the squad that's available to him. He has massively overachieved. Let's not underestimate what they've done, what he's achieved at Crystal Palace. FA Cup, European football, and winning a European competition. It's been fantastic for them. And to actually take this group of players on, they need investment. They need to go to that next level. But if the club's not ready to go to that next level, they'll always be here.
Let's head to Selhurst Park. Plenty of fans are there, having been watching on the big screen there with BBC Radio London's Emma Jones.
I'm here with a couple who are enjoying the trophy lifts at the moment. Palace are European champions. How does that sound?
Unbelievable. Been coming for so many years, never been like this. Just a really special night.
Did it have to be Jean-Philippe Mateta? Yeah? Did it have to be Mateta? Yeah! He's the best striker. Were you ever doubting it in this remarkable journey with a trophy being lifted?
Around about Christmas time when Ollie said that he was going to go and things weren't looking too good. Mateta was going to go, but in fairness, turned it around. Now we're here, end of the season, all brilliant.
It's been a great season and it means more European football next season. Yeah, exciting. Maybe we'll get over there. You fancy a trip to Europe next season?
Some of the fans are at Selhurst Park. I mean, you can flip it the other way here, can't you? And you can be a bit worried, Clinton, about who might leave and Glasner going and so on and so forth. But then you can go, well, hang on a minute. Look what they've done this last 12 months.
Yeah.
Now they've got Europa League football. Right, so they may have finished 15th in the Premier League, but they've got more European football next season. And I take Paul's point about investment is needed.
Yeah.
But there will be a lot of managers who will fancy Palace because they will see them at a different level to where they were 2 years ago.
100%, and that's the job that Oliver Glasner's done at that football club. Listen, chap, as everyone knows, there's a name out there at the moment, and if Palace were to get him, it'd be an unbelievable coup. And he's been linked to the job, Areola. So he's the one that everyone's talking about. And you know, when rumours start, it's usually something you always think to yourself, could it come true? Could it come true? So you never know. But that's a manager who I would love to come to Palace. Everyone would say it is a sideward step. I totally get from what he's done at Bournemouth. But if that comes off, then I'd be buzzing and over the moon. But you have to. That's one of those where you just say, let's watch this space at the moment. But Robbo's right though. They're going to lose. They're already losing Kamada because he's out of contract and he's not signing a new contract because that was a Glasner signing, and I thought he was brilliant in midfield alongside Adam Wharton. So they are going to lose players. As I said, it's a rebuilding one. But if I'm a manager, I'd want to come to Crystal Palace just because of the players that they've got there and the potential that the club's got.
Do you think there is a genuine possibility that it could be Iraola?
Yeah, I do. I actually do. I think Palace will throw everything to try and get him to the football club. I do actually think that. There's a few other names that were in the frame that everyone's probably heard of, but he was probably, you look at it, the number one candidate. And if they don't get him, and you'll know this anyway, clubs always have a second or a third option, but I think he's the number one option. And if they were to get someone like that, wow, what a signing. And it might encourage players like Adam Wharton just to do another year, if possible, because he's still only 22 years of age, and I don't want him to go to a big club and not be a regular like he is at Crystal Palace.
What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I think if you look at a manager like Areola, then you can understand them if they're quite happy to let Glasner go. That then is staying at this level and maybe progressing to the next level, because Areola is not going to come to Crystal Palace unless he's given the assurances that Glasner would have wanted, i.e. the squad rebuild, the money, the investment, signing players, keeping players and getting the players that he wants. So I don't think this would be a job for him with this squad, without Mateta, without Kamada and without potentially Wharton and others. He wouldn't want to rebuild this, but if he can keep this and build on this with the promises, then I think that would be a statement from Crystal Palace if they were to get a manager of his calibre.
It would also be, again, I sort of go back to history rather more than the modern day, Ali, but it would be astonishing if Palace were able to get him with rumours circling that he may well have turned down AC Milan. Yeah. Right? So, and given the all-conquering power of English clubs in Europe, that wouldn't half say a lot.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean, and that is not, damning clubs like Crystal Palace, but you're talking about the stature of a club like AC Milan. Were that to be the decision, then yes. And, also I'm thinking a little bit longer term. Palace now in the Europa League, and Andoni Iraola has just left Bournemouth, who'll be playing in the Europa League next season. So you could eventually get a situation, where the two come up against each other. I do think Paul is right. I think you would definitely want assurances if you were going to come in and replace Oliver Glasner and try and repeat the sort of success, particularly in the knockout cup competitions that he has had, in terms of what you were going to have at your disposal, because I think they will be, really big shoes to fill. And it will be a difficult job, but then again, we're not in on those conversations, so I don't know, and I do think, Paul, this question is going to come to Oliver Glasner after this final straight away, and I know he'll bat it away, but it will be, have you definitely made that decision? Is there no way you'd change your mind? Because there's 18,000 Palace fans inside this stadium, having seen the old Klinsmann dive, who might be thinking, come on, Oliver, we'd like a little bit more of that.
Adam Waters just spoken to TNT. He said, I missed out on the FA Cup celebrations. I can't put these feelings into words. It's incredible. You can see what it means to South London and the fans. And on Oliver Glasner, he said this. He said, last game as Palace manager, the difference he's made is incredible. First 3 trophies in the history of the club. He's got to be one of the best managers Palace have ever had. we're not just looking to stay in the Premier League. He's completely changed the way the club looks at competitions. We don't just want to be in Europe, we want to win it. And maybe for all the talk of, you know what, Clinton, of tactics and 3-4-3 and recruitment and so on and so forth, he changed the mentality at Crystal Palace. That's what he did.
100%. That's what, because all Palace, sometimes you're just happy to stay in the Premier League. No, in all cup competitions, they'd always play his strongest team. He wouldn't rotate or do anything like that. He just play his strongest team, and I like that. And he's changed the mentality to say, you've got to believe yourself. And that is why I think he's took as Palace as far as he can at the moment. He knows there's not a lot of money in the football club, and he can't have the players that he wants. And that's why he probably wants a different challenge. He's took the club to the highest ceiling that it can possibly go, he thinks, and now it's over to a new manager to come in. The job he's done there has been brilliant.
And the next challenge in the job, Mark, is, as well as, I mean, if you think back to that FA Cup final, win last season, 2 massive wins, obviously beating Aston Villa convincingly in the semi, then winning the final against Manchester City, and big performances in the latter stage of this competition. But Crystal Palace have now played 13 consecutive seasons in the Premier League and always finished between 10th and 15th. So and never, I mean, a couple of times, I remember Sam Allardyce came in at one point and had to dig them out of a bit of trouble, but never really been in danger. But also, the next job probably consistently to try and push them on a bit more and see if they can, top 8. I mean, top 6 is probably too far, isn't it, to ask?
You don't know, do you? And actually, a final word to Paul and Clint on this. One of the things that winds me up more than anything is people within football who tell fans, be careful what you wish for, i.e. accept finishing 15th and never winning a cup and not doing anything. Palace have been brave with managerial appointments over the years. Some they get right and some they get wrong. But Palace are the example and the ambition of every football fan, I would argue, at the moment, who doesn't support a so-called big team. Because that tonight and that at Wembley is what every football fan wishes for, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, chappers. Every football fan does wish for that. Them sort of nights where you're in the Europa Conference League final, you can go over there with your family and watch a game, and you're winning football matches. You get to celebrate it with your family. The FA Cup final, where they were big underdogs. They were the favourites today, but there's big pressure on them. They were underdogs against Man City, but turned up, and that was a special occasion. And I bet tonight over there in Leipzig, a special occasion. And they do it the right way there at Crystal Palace. Huge credit to them.
And with the right people and the right spirit and a little bit of luck along the way, maybe, Paul, you are allowed to dream.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's the old adage, isn't it? With success comes expectation. So there'll now be a level of expectation with this group of players, with this team, to push on to that next level. And I completely agree with what Ali's saying. When do you come out of that bubble? When do you come out of that comfort zone and have the investment and get the quality of players that takes you regularly to FA Cup finals, regularly deep in European competitions, and competing in the upper echelons of the Premier League?
And last one, very quick one, Mark, actually on this competition and the success of the English clubs within it, as we watch these Palace players still enjoying hoisting that trophy in front of the fans. We've had 5 seasons of the UEFA Conference League, and English clubs have won it in 3 of the last 4. Crystal Palace's great rivals Brighton playing this competition next season. They should be really looking forward to that, because they also will have a great chance. That is just the way it is.
Ali and Paul and Clinton, thank you. Go celebrate Clinton. See you
Cheers.
soon.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Plenty more reaction to Crystal Palace's win on the Football Daily Pod and also throughout the night on 5 Live with Tony Livesey, who's next.